the campus of Mississippi State University. TBS welcomes you to Starkville as we continue our 8th consecutive year of SEC football. Today, the defending Southwest Conference champion Texas Longhorns meet Jackie Sherrill's Mississippi State Bulldogs. Hello, everybody. Along with Tim Foley, this is Bob Neal from a hot Scott Field in Starkville. 90 degrees. It's going up. Maybe some thunderstorms later, but basically hot and sunny here today. And it's not only hot in temperatures, it's hot in attitude. We sense a whole different feeling here in Starkville. You hear the crowd, you hear the cowbells. How to explain it? 2 words, Jackie Sherrill.
6th winningest active coach in college football today. And he brings to this Mississippi State program an experience in winning and developing successful programs. You know, defensively, they're going to have to play well to stick with this Texas Longhorn football team. But Sherrill will sell this team that they can win at any time. He sold the alumni. He sold the students. You could hear them. And the team believes it, too. They got to stop Texas's running game on defense, so to make it happen. Offensively, they made a decision to go with an inexperienced quarterback named Sleepy Robinson, who came up with some big plays last week against Cal State Fullerton. But this week, instead of Sleepy Robinson in offense, it's going to have to be more like Smokey Robinson and the miracles against this Texas defense.
Texas highly ranked, 12th ranked by Associated Press. Their defense, 8 starters returning, a couple of all-conference players, 1 All-American. They're solid up front, in the middle, in the back. That's about as much as you need to say.
They got more weapons than a SWAT team. You know, I was raised in a bend but don't break philosophy on defense. They've got a pillage and plunder philosophy. They're going to come after you.
And they're good offensively. Texas has an experienced quarterback, Peter Gardere, and also an outstanding balance and a good running game.
Yeah, they've got a slew of runners that can carry the football. Had not obviously the best, and Gardere has really developed into a leader on offense that can throw the ball adequately.
Should be a good ball game. The crowd's excited here. Number 12 ranked Texas against a rebuilding and a revitalized Mississippi State University Bulldog program. We'll be back to meet the players and have the kickoff, but right now, Paul Ryden. In Starkville, 90 degrees, and the Texas Longhorns come onto the field, the defending Southwest Conference champions. They won 10 games last year before losing to Miami in their bowl game and come back here as an undefeated Southwest Conference championship football team. They are coached by David McWilliams. He is a Texas alum. He played on a national championship team at Texas in 1963. This is his 4th year, 26 wins, 20 losses, but 10 of the 26 came last year. Butch Hadnot, Peter Gardere, some strong players on this Texas football team. And they'll be a tremendous test today for the Mississippi State program. Texas is a top 20 program, a solid program in tradition. Jackie Sherrill has beaten Texas the last 5 times he's played them. The catch there is he was with his very powerful and talent-deep teams at Texas A&M. Jackie Sherrill comes here to Mississippi State, and as he told Tim and I yesterday, this is not a program in the dregs. This is not a program without talent. He says he has some speed. He has some football talent, and he has a program with which he feels he can build. He likes the university. He likes the situation and thinks that the Mississippi State Bulldogs don't have to be down in the bottom third of the SEC every year, and they're starting to believe that here at Scott Field. We'll see how these players are able to capitalize on that during the game today as they come onto the field. You hear the cowbells, the cannons going off, and Jackie Sherrill with his national television debut. Mississippi State comes into the game with a 1-0 record, having defeated Cal State Fullerton just last week. Back for the kickoff in just a moment.
SEC football on TBS, Texas and Mississippi State is brought to you by Aflac, insuring over 35 million people worldwide. And by Dr. Pepper Company and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor ordered. And by Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It doesn't get any better than this.
Mississippi State has won the toss. They'll defer their choice till the second half. Texas will receive and will have an opportunity to see Peter Gardere and his offensive unit out on the field. The only other time these two teams met in 1921, Mississippi State was called A&M, and William G. Harding was president of these United States. And you see Chris Gardner getting ready to kick off for Mississippi State. Adrian Walker and Jimmy Saxton are the double deep backs for the Texas Longhorns. 90 degrees at game time. It is hot. Tim was telling me he thinks it's probably 100 degrees or so down there on the field. So the heat and humidity could take a toll on these players today, particularly if one team's defense stays on the field an inordinate amount of time. This game is underway. Gardner kicking it up high. It's going to come down to a wingback at the 23-yard line. That's number 13, Jason Burleson. He is out to the 28-yard line, and there, Texas will go on the offense. Peter Gardere is their quarterback. He is a junior, but he played all of last year. A heady quarterback, a talented quarterback, and an outstanding leader. He threw for over 2,100 yards in 1990 for the Texas Longhorns. The Longhorns offer mostly a very strong running game and an experienced offensive line. Chuck Johnson's the best player up there, and a depleted receiving corps. First down 10, Longhorns. From the 27-yard line, Gardere is going to throw on first down. The right roll, the pursuit from the linebackers. Gardere in trouble. He is down at the 24. Nate Williams finally got him. Let's look at the offensive lineup for the Texas Longhorns. Their running back corps very deep, as the Dr. Pepper starting lineups will show you. They'll start with Butch Hadnot. He had a tremendous second half of the season last year. Got fired up and uncranked in the Oklahoma game. Adrian Walker also terrific. Kenny Neal and Derek Duke are the returning receivers. The 5 leading receivers graduated and are gone. Chuck Johnson, the best of a good offensive line. Second down 12, Longhorns. Hadnot, the single setback. Hadnot hit at the line of scrimmage and down at the original line, which is back out at the 27-yard line. And now the Dr. Pepper defensive lineups for Mississippi State, successful on their first 2 plays. Nate Williams and Rodney Stowers both had 8 tackles last week against Cal State Fullerton. They're rebuilding that line. Strength linebackers. Joseph and Woodard on the outside. 𝐒𝐭𝐿, a key man today because he'll have to play that run so much. And Lance Aldridge, whose dad played at Texas, is the strong safety in the secondary for Mississippi State. It is suspect. It is the question mark for this Mississippi State defensive football team. Third down 10 from the 27. Duke in motion, Gardere. Overthrows his intended receiver, number 6, Kenny Neal, and it's 3 downs and out for Texas, and they love it here at Scott Field.
And Bob, this is what Mississippi State needs early on defense. They need to build some confidence. They were close a lot of times last year. They just couldn't get it over the top. There's Tony James, who's the leading all-purpose runner, returning in the SEC. But some fine defense. Good job on a play pass on first down. Good job against the run, and then solid coverage on third down against this Longhorn offense.
First collegiate punt for Kelly McClanahan of Texas. It's not a very good one. Fair catch signaled for at the 37-yard line by Tony James. So now here comes, we'll probably call him this all afternoon, Smokey Robinson, hoping for a miracle. His nickname is Sleepy Robinson because of those sleepy eyes you see in the picture there. His real first name is William. He's a 6-foot-tall, 195-pound junior from Jackson, Mississippi. A little playing time last year, very mobile, very athletic, not a good passer, but Watson Brown, the new offensive coordinator here, has worked with him and improved his passing, although what he will bring to this game is elusiveness and athletic ability at the quarterback spot. On the first down, the drop and the throw. Slipped out of his hands. Somebody may have hit it as it came out of there, but it slipped out nevertheless. Kenny Robertson, William Prince, also Tay Galloway, Carl Williamson, Michael Davis will be in that backfield. Tony James, back last year, now he's a receiver this year. John James, the best of an offensive line that is a question mark for the Mississippi State Bulldogs.
But it's good, but it's as good as it's been in the past. Unfortunately for them, they're working against probably the best defensive line in the country.
Second down 10. Out of the I formation, we'll see all kinds of formations from Jackie Sherrill's team. Again, Watson Brown from Vanderbilt, the offensive coordinator. He'll throw a lot of looks at you. Here's the option. Out of bounds goes William Prince right out to the 41-yard line. He was hit by number 45, defensive right end Bo Robinson. The front four of Texas, according to the Sporting News, the best defensive line in America coming into the 1991 season. They're led by 6'6" Shane Dronette. Michael Paget, who's had 23 months of rehabilitation on a knee injury, comes back to middle linebacker. And Van Malone is the new man replacing the All-American who was lost there in a very good secondary for the Longhorns.
The rest of that secondary has been starters since they're in 3rd grade. I mean, they've been there a long time, and they can cover.
What do you do? I'm in 3rd grade at Texas. Here is Sleepy Robinson from the 40. It is 2nd down and 6. Robinson's going to turn it upfield. Pop from behind. Looked like the opening, but boy, did it close fast. James Patton, who will close it up pretty fast, is the 275-pound left defensive tackle.
And there is David McWilliams. Suffered through a couple of tough years. In 1989, he was 5-6. 88, he was 4-7. But the type of guy that you like to see win. Just a warm, magnanimous, easygoing family guy that everybody in football was happy to see him do well last year. Except some of those other coaches in the Southwest Conference.
Mike Riley's in for a punt. I think he's the best punter in the Southeastern Conference. You see why. Here's Willie Mack Garza. Nowhere to go and out of bounds at the 15-yard line. A 47-yard punt from Mike Riley. Texas will try their offensive set again when we return. This is the scene in downtown Starkville yesterday. Mississippi State is really enthused about the beginning of the 1991 football season because of Jackie Sherrill and because of a new coaching staff he's brought here and because of a new attitude. And Jackie Sherrill, you see him with the cowbell, says, I think it's a crying shame the conference won't let us have this cowbell. And we will have him here today because it's a non-conference game.
You know, that's the kind of guy he is. This Jackie is a promoter supreme, and he'll get people excited, and he'll get them ringing cowbells, bringing anything they can bring in here to get them excited about Bulldog football again.
First down 10 Texas from the 15-yard line. They'll try the running game off the right side. A yard or two for Butch Hadnot. 6 feet tall, 225, only a sophomore from Kirbyville, Texas. And the best way to describe Hadnot is people say they remind him very much of another great Texas running back, Earl Campbell.
That brings back bad memories for me, right? So I was playing for the Dolphins, and Earl was playing for the Oilers, and he ran over me several times. But Hadnot was the offensive newcomer of the year in the Southwest Conference last year. Just a lot of skill, a lot of agility, powerful runner at 214.
Hadnot is the single setback. Duke in motion. Gardere rolling left to throw on the run. It is complete to Duke. Out to the 47-yard line. Kelvin Knight makes the stop for Mississippi State, and that will be a Texas first down. 9 straight regular season wins dating back to last September for the Texas Longhorns. This is also their 5th straight opener on the road.
Gardere is 14-5 when he's the guy pulling the trigger for the Longhorns. He's got leadership skills and ability. Not an abundance of talent, but a tremendous leader.
First and 10 out at the 27-yard line. Pitch back to Adrian Walker. Good running back himself. He'll get about 5 across the 30 to the 33-yard line.
Let's take a look at Chuck Johnson here, number 79. He's right in there next to 84. Thrift comes off the line of scrimmage. Good contact on Kevin Henry. Gets good movement down the field, and he's doing his job. Second team All-Southwest Conference, and gets his degree at the end of the year this year, at mid-year and Christmas time. Thinking about going to law school. Big, tough, quiet leader in the offensive line.
Ooh, I'd like to have him as my lawyer. Not that I need one. Out across the 35 to the 36-yard line. Short of the first down goes Butch Hadnot. Rodney Stowers makes the stop. Stowers had 8 tackles last week against Cal State Fullerton. It is a rebuilding defensive line for the Bulldogs, Tim.
But fortunately for them, they have a guy here named Pete Jenkins who spent 11 years at LSU and has developed a lot of NFL players. And he's got these guys working as hard as they've ever worked, and they'll be good with their hands and feet.
Third down and 2. Double tight ends, power formation for the Longhorns. Hadnot. Hit at the line of scrimmage. Let's see where they mark his forward progress. It's close.
Good stick by Danny Boyd. We saw him play his first game last year as a walk-on here, number 41. You see him moving to his left. Reads it, comes back in, and then pow. That's all you get, Butch. That's all the farther you're going. And Daniel Boyd, he had a little bit of trouble in his first game against Tennessee. Tennessee picked him out and started to run on him, and Thompson ran for over 200 yards that day. But he has developed into a fine player. And there you see in the crimson shirt there, Pete Jenkins. He tried to get me down in the weight room, Pete. Hey, it's been 11 years, and I'm not going down there with you if I go down there.
You've done weights. That's a Texas first down. They'll spot the ball at the 37-yard line. David McWilliams, entering his 5th year at the University of Texas. He coached 1 year at Texas Tech, but has spent a lot of years, not only as a player, but as an assistant coach at his alma mater in Austin, Texas. First and 10 from the 37-yard line. Thrift and Burleson both in there, the tight ends for Texas, with 2 split receivers and a single setback. It's number 5, Hadnot. You see what we're talking about. He coughed up the ball after he went out of bounds at the 41-yard line. Finally dragged down by Kelvin Knight.
Watch Hadnot run now. Good job by the Mississippi State defense, but you watch it out here. Number 48, Torrance Brown, dips inside. Was that Frankie Luster, 49? Dips inside, Hadnot sucks him inside, and then takes it out down the field. Now, this guy became a starter for Texas after the Oklahoma game last year. Looked like Superman against Houston, and they just really high on Butch Hadnot.
Texas started this drive at their 15-yard line. They're getting there on the ground. Hadnot rest. Patrick Wilson is in. He runs it to the left side. 2 or 3 yards inside the 40-yard line. We'll probably see as many as 6 Texas running backs. A penalty marker is on the field. Walker Brown and Roderick Walker at the tailback spots, or what they call their A-back, and Butch Hadnot, Wilson, and Childers will be at the B-back position. The penalty marker going against the Longhorns.
Well, this is the first time Texas fans have seen the Longhorns on the field on offense without the Kerry and Keith Cash and Johnny Walker for a long time. They're trying to replace that receiving core.
Holding. Offense. Repeat first down.
By the way, Tim, you just heard the voice very clearly there of Lloyd Dale. He heads up a crew of Southwest Conference officials for this game today. First down 20 for the Longhorns. Back inside Texas territory. Duke in motion. The play fake. Gardere. Incomplete. It was intended for Kenny Neal. Tony Harris covering on the play. Again, the top 5 receivers for the Longhorns left in graduation. Neal and Derek Duke are the only 2 experienced players in this ball game today with any substantial experience. Mike Davis, their real speed receiver, injured an ankle a couple of weeks ago and is going to miss this game and probably a couple more, is not on the road trip today.
Good job by Harris on the outside. Also a nice job by Daniel Boyd, the linebacker, who picked up Thrift trying to get open across the middle.
Second down 20. Hadnot hit in the backfield. Look how hard he is to bring down. Nevertheless, he loses yardage. Mark Woodard on the outside keyed the defensive stand for the Bulldogs.
Let's see it again. Good thrust by Gibson. Jerome Brown in the backfield. Excellent job by the defensive front for Mississippi State. But you see Hadnot's ability. I mean, you can just, the ability to just take that lateral step and take off. You got to be 100% all the time in pursuit when you got a running back like this guy out there.
Third down 21 for Texas. 3 receivers right. Gardere right. Going on the run. It's complete, but short of the first down at the 45 of Mississippi State to Adrian Walker out of the backfield. And Texas will have to get rid of the ball after 9 plays. That drive stopped by the holding call.
Well, Bill Clay, the defensive coordinator here at Mississippi State, has to feel proud of his charges. last couple of years, Jim Carmody started to develop some pride in this defensive unit, and they played well over the last few years. There you see a true freshman, Scott Gamina, from New Orleans, Louisiana, drifting back as a lone receiver.
He returned one punt last week. Of course, Tony James is a great punt returner, but they're trying to work Gamina in there. Good punt here from McClanahan, as it's going to roll dead at the 10-yard line. Punting has been a problem for the Longhorns. The only good punter so far has been Peter Gardere. They don't want to use him there. McClanahan is the man. Texas and Mississippi State from Scott Field in Starkville. It is 90-plus degrees on the field. No score yet. Texas stalled a 9-play drive. They're called for a holding penalty and couldn't convert on a 1st and 20 and a 2nd down and 3rd, etc. Punted it down to the 10 of the Bulldogs, where Sleepy Robinson sets his charges. Sleepy wearing number 15. A lot of Mississippi State Bulldogs will remember the great quarterback here a few years ago by the name of Don Smith, who wore that same number. Robinson on a quick toss. It is complete to Tony James out across the 15 to the 17. Padgett with the stop.
That actually was an unbalanced front from Mississippi State. Three receivers to the strong side of the field. Prince sets up the block. Just a turn pattern by James, who's an effective punt returner and also a wide receiver. As you said, used as running back last year.
2nd down 3. Single setback is William Prince. The handoff goes to Print. Penalty marker goes down at the line of scrimmage. Shane Dronette makes the stop. While we have a moment for that, Tim, we could talk about the fact that you don't see the Bulldogs going back in the huddle.
Well, they stand at the line of scrimmage, and they want to get Texas to line up defensively, giving offensive coordinator Watson Brown a chance to see where they're lined up, and then he'll call a play from the sideline. Here's Watson Brown encouraging his troops. Done a great job bringing along Sleepy Robinson. Jackie Sherrill was really bragging at his patience because, you know, last year Sleepy'd only thrown 7 passes all year. You see Jim Helms came in from Oklahoma State, and Ricky Black was a high school coach here in Mississippi. Christophel was with Watson and Vanderbilt, and Kenny Pope, a player at Oklahoma. And there is the brain trust up there for Mississippi State.
And for Mississippi State, the ball spotted back here now at the 7.5 after the holding call, half the distance. 2nd down 13 against what a lot of people think is the best defensive team in the nation. Elusive Sleepy Robinson. They had him at the 1-yard line. He struggles back to the 10. I liked what you said about Sleepy Robinson and the way you look at him athletically, Tim.
It's like Michael Jordan with a football. I mean, you're going to see his hand on the ground. You expect him to do a 360 and slam dunk at one time. But look at this. He's just, if you grease him down, nobody'd ever catch him. You know, he's just, he's got great escape ability.
3rd down 10. Again, the penalty putting Mississippi State in the hole. Backs against the wall here. Robinson to pass. Incomplete. That's a nearly almost, but not quite, intended for Willie Harris. The junior split end out of Moss Point, Mississippi. And Mike Riley's going to have to come in to punt the ball away.
Grady Cavness right on him. Sometimes they play it man-to-man from the outside in. Cavness comes in there and breaks it up, but man-to-man coverage from Texas. Every once in a while, they'll keep someone free in the middle, but those corners, you know, once they get off the bus, they're on their own if you're playing for Texas.
Number 17 is junior Willie Mack Garza. He's been around a long time, had a severe injury. Took him 2 seasons to recover from Riley under pressure. Got the punt away. It is taking a Texas bounce, and now out of bounds at the 43-yard line, where the Longhorns will have excellent field position. A punt of only 32 yards. It may have been partially blocked. There was a tremendous rush on that punt. We'll be back to Scott Field after this. Looks like somebody may have gotten a hand on this Riley punt attempt.
Gamina is back there protecting the punter. Van Malone comes underneath. Jackie Sherrill wants it called. I understand the rule to read, if you are blocked into the punter, then that contact is inconsequential. The van was headed that way in the beginning. Those referees usually get it right.
Jimmy Saxton has come in at quarterback for Texas. Number 14 throwing on the run. It is complete to 22, redshirt freshman Justin McLemore. Saxton is also a sophomore from Austin, Texas, the backup to Peter Gardere. You see, 1990 only threw the ball 8 times. 2 of the times were 4 touchdowns.
I talked to Lynn Amity before the game, the offensive coordinator here at Texas, as you see Peter Gardere. And this was part of the plan, whether things were going well offensively or not. They wanted to get Jimmy Saxton into the game. They want to get him some playing experience. They think he's a tremendous athlete. Played a few series last year as a running back.
Well, you saw him on the kickoff return. That says something about his athletic ability. Trying the right side is Phil Brown, a 200-pound tailback from Commerce, Texas, who's a sophomore. So I told you Texas will use about 6 running backs in there. Hadnot's clearly the star, but Walker, Brown, 2 Walkers, Adrian and Roderick, and Wilson and Childers also very strong.
There's Lynn Amity there. He's got the pen in his hand. Talking to the offensive coaches on the sideline. We'll talk to the quarterbacks as they come off the field. We first met Lynn back in 1983 when he was the offensive coordinator for Vanderbilt. Done very well at Texas A&M and Texas since then.
On the 3rd down, 2, Mississippi State's defense appears to have stopped Patrick Wilson on the left side. Nate Williams has 4 tackles already today from the nose guard spot for the Bulldogs.
Let's see it again. McMillan at center, doing a good job there. Great pursuit, great lateral pursuit by that defensive front of Mississippi State. Nate Williams, junior college All-American. Starter last year here at Mississippi State, probably the best player on the defensive line. This first down, Texas.
Got a big spot forward, which drew boos from this partisan Bulldog crowd. And after Walker, Roderick, the redshirt freshman in the backfield. He's out of Irving, Texas, hit by Mark Woodard on the outside. 2 big short-yarded 3rd down conversions by Texas in this ball game so far.
Now watch number 34, Shane Childers. He whacks Woodard. Woodard whacks him, comes off, and makes the play. That play never had a chance to develop. There seemed to be a little confusion between Saxton and the ball carrier. But if they'd got it clean, Woodard was there, and he is the premier player on this defense. Intelligent, businesslike, strongest pound player in the league.
Saxton on 2nd down 11. That was tipped. And it goes incomplete on the far sideline, intended for Justin McLemore. So Saxton hasn't been very successful so far in his job of coming in relief of Peter Gardere. This will bring up 3rd down 11 from the 34-yard line of the Bulldogs. No score in this game, and we have 3:59 remaining in the first quarter.
Well, Saxton's in there with the 2nd unit all the way across the board. They've substituted in the offensive line and at wide receiver. That time, Tony Harris jammed Justin McLemore. Jimmy Saxton knew it wasn't there, just patiently threw it out of bounds. Come back to fight again.
Butch Hadnot. The single setback on the 3rd down 11. Texas calls timeout. Big conversion opportunity for the Longhorns coming up when we return to Starkville. Texas, Mississippi State scoreless with 3:59 to go in the first quarter. And Tim, you may have noticed I'm not feeling very well. I think I've caught something. You know what I've caught? Pennant fever. The Braves are half a game out of first place in the National League West. They'll take on New York Mets from Shea tomorrow. Chip Perry, Don Sutton, Pete Van Wieren. 1:35 tomorrow Eastern Time. 3rd down 11, Texas. Saxton on the quarterback draw. Doesn't get there. They'll stop him about the 28-yard line. Juan Long, number 40, the right inside linebacker, keying the play. Texas does not convert.
Great second effort here by Jimmy Saxton. You can see his athletic ability. Gibson swings around the outside. Woodard smacks him. Aldridge is there, and this is a quarterback. Not a big guy. He keeps running, keeps fighting, trying to get close enough so maybe Texas have a choice to go for it on 4th down. Didn't really make it. Now it's field goal time.
First kick in his career, redshirt kicker Jason Ziegler replacing All-American Michael Pollock. This will be a 43-yard attempt. Remember, the goalposts are narrower this year. No problem for Jason Ziegler. The freshman from McKinney, Texas, and the Longhorns go up by a score of 3-0 with the 44-yard field goal from Ziegler. So the Longhorns have taken the lead, and the Mississippi State Bulldog defense has been out there a long time on this hot 90-degree-plus day. And as Tim said, it's going to require a defensive effort from Mississippi State to stay in here with Texas. We're talking about Jackie Sherrill, of course. He was out of football 2 years. He was head coach at Texas A&M, and he's played him, beat him the last 5 times at A&M. He talks about what it means to play the Longhorns.
Well, there's a big incentive on Texas side. There's no question. Just like all the fans down there are to the players, beat Jackie. I mean, they don't care about Mississippi State. And that's really the wrong approach, because if they have to play, they don't have to play me. Thank God I don't have to go out there and play. One thing that I've always said and continue to say is when teams went and played Alabama, they didn't play Alabama. I was a player. They wasn't playing us. They were playing Coach Bryant. If you're more concerned about playing other people than playing the players, sometimes it really doesn't turn out for you.
And I agree with what he says there. You back in the early 70s, got a Texas guy played down there, not in the early 70s, late 70s, Glenn Blackwood. I mean, when you played the Dolphins, you were playing Don Shula. It wasn't really the Dolphins, it was Don Shula. And there is some truth to that, because you're playing the extension of his enthusiasm and his intensity and his desire to win.
Tony James, for a moment, there was a slight crease. James goes down, however, at about the 27, a 19-yard kickoff return. And here, the Bulldogs, trailing 3-0, will have a little bit of breathing room so Watson Brown can perhaps try to uncrank some of the ideas he has as offensive coordinator and give a chance for Robinson and his football team to operate. See the no huddle. They come out, line up, take a look at the Texas defense. Not much to look at, though. Texas just lines up in that 4-3 and comes at you. Here's the option. Not much. Out to the 30 goes 27, Carl Williamson, a sophomore from Stanton, Tennessee, whom Jackie Sherrill feels very strongly about. Thinks he's a tremendous potential player.
He's got good speed and good power. But you see it there for Texas. 7 plays after the poor punt. 7 plays, 23 yards, 3 points on the board.
Second down 7 from the 30-yard line. Out of the I formation this time from the Bulldogs. Robinson pitching on the option. They'll try that right side again. A little bit more success. Out to the 35 goes Carl Williamson. It'll bring up a 3rd down conversion. You're not going to see Robinson throw the ball very much. They hope Mississippi State hopes they don't get in one of those big deficit situations where they have to. He's only 1 out of 3 so far today. 3rd down 2 from the 35 of the Bulldogs. Longhorns leading 3-0 late in the 3rd quarter. Mix up in the backfield. Let's see how Michael Davis, the redshirt freshman, did anyway, though. As the whole pile moved forward, he may have gotten the 1st down.
Good close here. Good contact in the backfield. And that's Leon Fuller's philosophy. Penetrate, cause some confusion in the backfield. But that time, Davis just struggled along through it. Sleepy let go of the ball.
First down for the Bulldogs, going deep. Nobody out there. Double coverage down deep on Chris Furl, the senior from Collins, Mississippi.
It's going to be really tough to beat Mark Berry, number 9 for the Texas Longhorns. He's a 4-year starter. Led the team in passes, broken up as a freshman. And he has just seen it all. He's probably been beat a few times, and every time you get beat, you learn. But that rascal right there is all Southwest Conference as a junior and just plays in a secondary that has a bunch of solid performers.
2nd down 10. Robinson in the pocket this time. Incomplete, intended over the middle for Furl.
There's another 2-year starter in action, Grady Cabness. These guys are going to be tough to separate from. They've run so many reps man-to-man. They've got tremendous quickness, and they've been well coached. Bobby Jack Wright and Leon Fuller, they just do a wonderful job there at Texas, and just a well-coordinated unit.
From the 39-yard line, 3rd down 10 after 2 consecutive incompletions. This will be 3 pass attempts in a row from Robinson. It is complete for the first down to Roberts. And Roberts is knocked out of bounds inside the 40-yard line of Texas. Kenny Roberts to run after the catch. The 5'8 junior. And Robinson gets the first down, a gain of 22 yards.
And this is how you're going to have to beat this man-to-man coverage. Not on the outside. Let him make the short throw. A little circle across by Roberts. Beats the tackle. Malone misses. And now everybody's man-to-man. You got another 10 or 15 yards.
Texas leads this game 3-0. Inside 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter, and the Bulldogs with their most successful drive of the day. Robinson keeping it. Slithering away. Good open field tackle out there by Mark Berry, or else Robinson gets the first down. Robinson rushed for 97 yards last week. He was the leading rusher on this Bulldog football team.
And watch this penetration by the Texas defensive front. Sleepy pulls it out and back against the grain. And you see him, he's like he's running through tires. He's just going to be tough for them to bring down. One-on-one, great tackle by Berry.
2nd down 3 at the 33 of the Longhorns. Many people feel the best defensive unit in the nation coming into the 1991 season. Certainly that defensive front 4. Timeout called by Sleepy Robinson. You saw that was a classic Watson-Brown formation. No running back there at all. Everybody spread out wide. Robinson will come over and talk to Watson and Jackie about it.
Creativity is not something that Watson-Brown is short on, and he showed that as an offensive coordinator in the past and at Vanderbilt, and then he's been a head coach at several different schools. And I think he's enjoying his role here as the offensive coordinator. He's taken out of that point man role as a head coach of a program that's not winning, and he's got more time to spend with the players and as a teacher as opposed to the front guy. And I think he's enjoying this. And I think he also realizes that Jackie Sherrill's the 6th winningest coach and active coach in college today. It would be nice to get around him and see how he gets things done from an organizational standpoint.
Coming up next week, we've got a beauty for you here on the Superstation. Tim and I will be on the banks of the Tennessee River as the UCLA Bruins travel to Knoxville to take on the Tennessee Volunteers. More than 95,000 fans will jam Neyland Stadium. Between the 23rd ranked Bruins, the number 13 Volunteers, will have all the action beginning at 12:30 Eastern Time on your home for SEC football. TBS Sports next Saturday in Knoxville. 8th play of the drive for the Bulldogs. 2nd down 3. New look formation after the timeout. The formation doesn't necessarily mean anything, though, on a Watson-Brown offense. Nothing there. Boy, was that red. You talk about penetration from the front 4. Robinson and Dronette, the left end and the right end, simply right up the middle to stop Robinson before he could move.
Well, this is the thing that Leon Fuller talks about, penetration. They call this the mesh point, and before he has a chance to do anything, he's got people in his face, not really a lot of time, and you know, that'll happen sometimes. You got to be patient against this Texas defense. They're going to make you look bad sometimes, but you can make them look bad.
3rd down 5. Treddis Anderson, touchdown, Bulldog! Coming in for the point after attempt, Chris Gardner. He missed 2 last week against Cal State Fullerton. One was a bad snap, the other was a block. flips the uprights on this one, and the Bulldogs have taken a 7-3 lead over the Texas Longhorns, and that was a big-time legitimate drive.
No question about it, Bob, and as we talked about, the way you beat this is cross receivers and try to throw off this man-to-man coverage. Little fake, not much time. Anderson releases right now inside. Some confusion back there, and he comes clean. Boo'n is a strong side linebacker. He expected help from the other side. It just wasn't there. You see Barry working one-on-one, Cabinets working one-on-one. Those guys are tough to whip. Treddis Anderson, from a split tight end position, comes back and makes the grab. And as we said before, this defense can make you look bad sometimes, but you can also hurt them because there's not really defense in depth. They're putting all the money on the table a lot. And, of course, it's been successful for them.
Couple of fine tight ends here at Mississippi State. Treddis Anderson, the former running back, he's a senior. And Turnell Edwards will play in there, too. And Treddis made him pay there. That's his longest career reception. Only 17 seconds remaining in the first quarter, and the Bulldogs have taken the lead.
Of course, we've seen Treddis' brother, Jesse, who now is with Tampa Bay, make some of those catches in the past here at Mississippi State. And understand this, too. Gardere brought this team from behind 7 times last year. So this is not unfamiliar territory for the Texas Longhorns.
Chris Gardner set for the kickoff. Walker and Saxton are deep. And remember, this kickoff coverage team, the Mad Dog unit, we'll talk about in a moment. Again, another short one that pops up in the air. With the ball, number 8, Van Malone. And because of the way the ball was kicked and the opportunity when he bobbled it, a good return, they'll get it out to the 41-yard line. Let's talk about that Mad Dog team a little bit.
Let's talk about Van Malone. Did you see that? Did you see that jump? As you look at Anderson there, did you see Van Malone jump? Isn't that the guy that was on the David Letterman show? Tell him that story. That's a good one.
In high school, Van Malone leaped off sides over the entire offensive line, got back across by leaping before the flag was thrown, and then when the ball was snapped, leaped back across and tackled the quarterback.
Well, you can see how he did it. He just did it down there.
He could be an honorary Mad Dog. Here's Gardere back in, thrown down after a gain of maybe a yard. Harley Gibson with the stop. I want to just follow that point. We'll talk about him later in the ball game. Penalty marker is down. That Mad Dog kickoff team is something that Jackie Sherrill brought here. Personal foul called against Mississippi State from Texas A&M. He formed what he called the 12th man kickoff squad down at Texas A&M, all volunteers, to get students involved, actual student athletes who are not scholarship players who come out, try out, and work on the kickoff coverage teams. He's done the same things here. The students named him the Mad Dogs.
Dead ball. Personal foul. Defense. First down.
Big defensive mistake on the part of Mississippi State. That'll move the ball to the 42 of the Bulldogs.
Over enthusiasm, that's all that was, you know, and good call. Mrs. Gardere liked it.
That'll be the end of the first quarter. Mississippi State leads it by a score of 7-3. Right, the Bulldogs leading Texas 7-3. As people see this score flashed up on scoreboards around the country, they'll go, uh-oh, Jackie Sherrill.
Well, I don't know. You know, as Jackie said, it's the players that are playing, and Mississippi State is playing great defense. They just had a successful drive, and they have to come up with the big plays on offense. And the Texas defense, as strong as it is, still gives you the cracks to make the big plays.
And Texas is driving right now inside Mississippi State territory at the 43-yard line. First down, 10 Texas. First play of the second quarter. That's Tony Harris. He is stopped at the 49-yard line. The senior from Town Creek, Alabama. And listen to this crowd in Starkville.
Well, one of the things we mentioned is that they're playing without Cash and Walker, 2 excellent wide receivers from Texas that are now in the pros. This time, Harris jams the wide receiver. He comes back inside. That probably wasn't what Gardere expected his response to be. He let the ball go. A great play by Tony Harris. But Gardere threw that one right at him. So it was a a lack of coordination, actually, between the wide receiver and the quarterback, as much as anything.
We've lost the scoreboard clock here at Scott Field, so we'll keep you posted the best we can on the time remaining. We are early in the second quarter. We've lost the scoreboard clock, but they haven't lost any enthusiasm. And you know that this talks about modern times. I don't think these cowbells are powered by electricity. They seem to be continuing to operate.
They're powered by momentum, I think.
David McWilliams looking on to his Longhorns, who just turned it over, and the Bulldogs will have it right here at midfield. Here's what the statistical story looks like in the first quarter.
It's pretty straight up. Texas running the ball for 43 yards. A long pass by Mississippi State gives them that 63-yard number. But Texas has played good defense. They've been high pressure, and it's just those. Every quarter, you may have one breakdown, two breakdowns because of the high-risk defense, high-pressure defense that they believe in, that, you know, the Steelers played and a lot of pro teams played. If you got good players, you can do that kind of stuff. They've got great athletes. These guys here now, though, they're believing that they can win.
The meeting on the sideline is about this clock that went out. Again, Southwest Conference officials talking to Jackie Sherrill there. That's the head official, Lloyd Dale, the man in the white hat from the SWC.
We hear nothing but good things about McWilliams, the 1990 Southwest Conference Coach of the Year and a player's coach. And one thing that really impressed me as I read through the media guide is that he wrote a paragraph, two paragraphs, sometimes three paragraphs on every player on his Texas team. And I asked Bill Little, the SID, now, come on now, did you write that or did he write that? And he said, no, Tim, he actually wrote it. He either wrote it or dictated it, because he knows every one of those players, and I think that is really admirable. They didn't know what my number was till I was a sophomore. You know, they didn't know how to pronounce my name. So I think that's really speaks highly of what he stands for at Texas, and he'll make this work.
So I guess they've got the scoreboard clock situation well in hand here. As I say, we'll keep you posted on it. We have about 14 minutes. We are early in the second quarter here, and the Bulldogs, after the interception, have the ball at the 49-yard line of the Texas Longhorns. Sleepy Robinson back in at the quarterback spot. He's the junior. Todd Jordan will probably play some in this ball game for Mississippi State. But the man is number 15, William Robinson. The play fake. Going upstairs. Overthrows everybody, including his intended receiver, Chris Burrow. Good arm, and that looked like a pretty good throwing motion. Jackie Sherrill was talking about Watson, Brown, and Robinson and that throwing motion to us yesterday.
You know, people say Roger Clements has a strange throwing motion. So what? You know, get the ball there. That's the idea. And he put a 55-yarder on the mark last week. But I'm telling you what, these cornerbacks are going to be hard to beat. The place to attack is on the inside.
And that's where the successful touchdown toss of 33 yards went to the tight end, Treddis Anderson. Slipping, coming away from the center. Robinson, elusive, turns it back up inside. What a runner! Dives for the first down. Sleepy Robinson gets 11 yards and the first down for the Bulldogs.
Well, here you go. It's a 6-yard loss. Strannett, the preseason All-American, right in his face. Has him, can't hang on, and then zip, zap. You know, some people run like a bobcat. This guy's more like a deer, you know, graceful, not machine gun feet, but he just sees the opening and knifes it in there.
First down, 10 Bulldogs at the 39-yard line of the Longhorns. Two wingbacks, single setback is Prince. They hand it to Prince to keep him honest in the middle. Penalty marker goes down. Prince gets about a yard or so. Stopped by Bo Robinson.
For those of the people that follow Southeastern Conference football, Sleepy Robinson will remind you of Don Smith here at Mississippi State. I mean, a guy that, you know, just snap him the ball and see what can happen. You know, it's not like you need a big game plan here.
Penalty against Mississippi State. Watson Brown trying to understand the call. He says, are you speaking Southwest Conference or Southeast Conference here?
Chop block. Offense, repeat first down.
Lloyd, I mean, it may be. Now, I don't want to demean the official here, but the chop block signal should go down below the waist. Maybe Lloyd can't get down there, but it threw Watson off and also set Watson off.
I think he didn't like the call.
It's a big penalty, too.
The idea is this: if an offensive player is in contact with the defensive player, another lineman cannot accelerate in at or below the knees. They initially made the rule because tackles were coming around the end. Defensive ends were coming around the end of a tackle, and a running back would chop them. Let's see if we can find it in there. Our producer, Rowan Backfish, has got it coming up. And there you see the right guard knifing in on the nose man for Texas, on Patton.
It's a good call. It's a good rule in the sense that it obviously protects your players. It's a tough call on the interior part of the line because there's a lot of chopping and cutting goes on as a natural part of that. So clock is back in operation. 14 minutes to go in the first half of play. Well, let's call it now first down 23. Robinson completes it to Roberts. Roberts to about the 43 and out of bounds, but the line to gain for the first down is at the 29, and a penalty marker is down in the Mississippi State backfield. They may call roughing the passer here.
Okay, look at this, Bob. Now, here's these Texas linebackers here. Most of the time, they're man-to-man, and that's what Bᴜʟʟᴅᴏ likes to play. This time, it gets a little zone look inside. You got a crossing pattern by the back coming out of the backfield. See, now, they're kind of getting depth. They're not really locked in. The linebacker on the far side chases too far and opens up that area. That's why they like to lock up on Texas. They feel like they've got the athletes that can run man for man.
It's roughing the passer against the Longhorns. Look at the big mark-off. It's at the 27.5-yard line of Texas. And in case you're joining us late, you got the score right. Mississippi State 7, Texas 3. Here's the action. The pitch to the outside. Diving out of bounds inside the 20 is Kenny Roberts. Lance Gunn covering. That's close to a first down.
Good block by number 1, Freddie Ward on Lance Gunn. Kept him out of there. Steps upfield. Nobody there for the pitch. Ward's doing a job keeping Gunn out. Gunn, an All-American, hustles to try to make the play, and good game by Roberts.
You see the speed, the outside speed of little Kenny Roberts. He's only 5'8", first down 10 at the 17. Roberts and Prince in the eye. There's the pitch again, right side. Not this time, back to the line of scrimmage, and that's all before James Patton puts a stop to that.
Patton, Jeter, Robinson, Burnett. It just doesn't get any better than that. Patton was all Southwest Conference in 1990, third year as a starter. Against the Texas defense, when you make a move, you got to make a move now and go. You jitter around, and you're going to get buried because these guys are coming in a hurry.
Second down 10, back at the 17. Freshman Michael Davis is the single setback. Robinson to throw. Under pressure, can't slither away this time. They lose a yard on the play. And they'll spot the ball at about the 19-yard line. Third down.
Usually teams go to a different offense inside the 20 going in. They call it the green zone or the red zone, depending on where you play. Here, your offense doesn't really change because the look on defense doesn't change. Whether it's at the beginning of the game, the end of the game, on your 1-yard line or on their 1-yard line, you're going to get about the same look from Texas.
Third down, 11. Robinson. Beautifully broken up by number 9, Mark Barry. Thrown across the middle. Tim Foley applauding for the excellent play of the secondary, and it goes both ways, not just the Texas secondary.
You know, see, you got to appreciate this. Great coverage, Mark Barry. Wonderful job. He's on his own back there. Makes a beautiful dive on the ball, and bingo. There goes Malone, and when you know number 8's in the area, expect to get hit.
Chris Gardner attempting the field goal from 36 yards. It's good. Mississippi State 10, Texas 3. The cowbells are ringing in Starkville, Mississippi. Mississippi State leads 10-3. We have 11 minutes, 53 seconds remaining in the first half of play. Along with Tim Foley, Bob Neal with you from Starkville. 90-plus degrees out here today. Took 3 minutes to get that 36-yard field goal from the foot of junior Chris Gardner.
Sleepy Robinson on a big scramble in that drive, and then also the penalty covered out yardage for Mississippi State, got him in position to kick that field goal.
The roughing the quarterback penalty is what took him down there. Now the Mad Dog kickoff coverage team goes out as you look at some scores from around the nation today. These are student volunteers, non-scholarship players. 150 came to try out for Jackie Sherrill. They picked 44, cut it to 24, and about 10 to 15 get to play.
And these guys, to make sure folks understand, these are not scholarship athletes. They're like engineers, social study majors, just regular people, right?
Mad fits them, though, I think, as in crazy.
Named by the student body. All part of Jackie Sherrill's program to involve everybody.
Gardner's been kicking off short and high. Let's see what he does this time. This time he drives it deep. Adrian Walker bobbles it. Is drilled at the 14-yard line by one of the Mad Dogs.
That's Kelvin Knight. That Mad Dog also in the starter on defense.
After we talked about the all volunteers, maybe Kelvin volunteered.
Right.
Well, so much for that publicity, Jackie. We got you now.
Well, maybe not all 12, right, or all 11.
Maybe Kevin doesn't have a scholarship. Okay. Fool me once. First down 10 from the 15. Longhorns trailing 10-3, running it up the middle to the 22. It's loose, but covered by Texas. Let's see what the call is. It may have been knocked loose by the ground. If that's the case, they'll move it back to the 21. And it is, and they do.
And I'm telling you, that one almost went all the way. That nice little inside trap block, and he came a hair from going all the way.
He lost the handle twice so far today.
Yeah, and any great back's going to do that occasionally, and it's their first game, and those things happen.
Second down 4. Had not again, this time right side. Middle to line. Look at his strength. He's across the 25 for the first down. Daniel Boyd makes the stop. Hadnot was a true freshman last year. Didn't play very much for Texas beginning part of the year, but he had a couple of very big carries and some success in the Oklahoma game. And after that, he became the man for the Texas running game.
Exactly. And as you saw Daniel Boyd in the picture there, understand that they're without the services of Reggie Stewart this year, who graduated at over 150 tackles last year.
Not a bad running back here either. That's Adrian Walker, but he can't get away from the pursuit of the Bulldogs. Down at the 26, Daniel Boyd was there again. Williams, Boyd, Woodard, Stowers, once again, the core of the tacklers on the defense for Mississippi State.
And this is the key here. You see Woodard standing up the outside, Henry upfield. Now everybody converge on the ball. Don't quit. Keep coming. These guys aren't down. They're runners that are going to fight and struggle and grab, and they'll do whatever they can to get loose. You cannot take a half-speed step. 99 tackles last year, second on the team to Reggie Stewart. Daniel Boyd really developing into a fine linebacker.
On the second down, pitch to Hadnot. They like to get him out on the sweep. Yeah, that's an Earl Campbell kind of run there. Takes that big, powerful thigh and slams it right into the tackle.
The problem with people have asked me who's the hardest guy you ever had to tackle, and you had O.J. Simpson, you had Walter Payton. They were hard to get a hold of. As we watch the Texas blocking scheme here, we'll come back to that story. See Scott Gooch swirling around, cutting off Coleman, and Hadnot, he's looking for the crack. Coleman fights through. Good job by Kelvin Knight getting there to plug that hole, because Hadnot, another half a step, and he's history.
Third down 1, Texas double tight ends power formation. First down, Texas. Patrick Wilson got it. Make it Phil Brown, number 29.
We're talking about hard to tackle. And so there's guys that are elusive, and then there are guys that punish you, like Larry Zonk or people like that. Roosevelt leaps if you're a Texas fan. Campbell was the hardest guy I ever had to tackle because he was not only elusive, if you stayed loose so you could grab a hold of him, he'd run over you. And if you tried to dig in, he'd run around you. So it's that combination, I think, that makes Hadnot so effective, too. He's got the power, but he also has the lateral step and can go.
What's the technique? Grab on and call for help, I guess, huh? This is the kind of technique here. Gang tackle.
You got it right there. Gang tackle. Everybody get to the football. Take care of your responsibility, then pursue in your lane. No half-speed step. Every time they give the ball to Hadnot, it's like throwing it 50 yards. You know, because that's what could happen with this guy's ability. You see Mississippi State coaching booth there.
Second down 10 from the 38-yard line. Hadnot the single setback. Gardere to throw under pressure. It's complete to Neal, who pays for the catch at the 45, short of the first down. Bone-crushing tackle by Keough Coleman. And when you say bone-crushing, Coleman will do it.
Call him Heartbreaker. Nice job. Gardere throwing it underneath. Ran one man through. Torrance Brown jumps in the air, can't knock it down. And Kenny Neal. Bango Coleman, junior college, second-team All-American from Navarro, Texas.
Third down 3 from the 45. Texas trailing 10-3. 7:47 to go in the second quarter. Brown in motion, Hadnot the single setback. Gardere on the option himself. He doesn't get it.
Great defensive call by Bill Clay. Made it look like Texas had it to the left. Nate Williams knifed to the inside. They slanted their line hard to the left. But what? Nate Williams sliding inside Gooch. Gooch trying to stay up on him. Williams fights his way through, causing Gardere to make a decision early. Just wasn't there. You see 93 Keith Joseph forcing it to the inside, and David McWilliams, again, a familiar situation at Texas, behind in the first half, but we'll be back.
Well, what's more Southern than Mississippi State Texas football? Well, something that's right in there is NASCAR. Tonight on TBS, the exciting NASCAR action of the Miller Genuine Draft 400, live from Richmond, Virginia. Ken Squire, Neil Bonnet, and Chris Economaki will have all the action at 8 Eastern time tonight on TBS. Fourth down 2, McClanahan to punt. Tony James is deep. Low snap. The rookie kicker gets it off. James will take it right in the face of the tacklers. Dives out to the 25. He was hit by 84 Curtis Thrift. A punt of 34 yards, a return of 5. And the Bulldogs, who are leading by a score of 10-3, have the football back again. Mississippi State with a 10-3 lead. 7:09 to go in the first half of play, and the Bulldogs have the ball at their own 25-yard line. Robinson has Davis and Williamson in the backfield. The handoff to Davis up the middle. Tough yardage, but he gets a few. Talk about that offensive line of Mississippi State. You know, I said question mark, and you said, no, actually pretty good offensive line. They think it will develop into one.
I think so. Rick Trickett's the offensive line coach, and he was bragging about Byron Jordan, the center, last year. Lee Ford is number 60. He's kind of a squatty body, but the kind of guy that'll fight you from the pregame meal till the time it's over. And you mentioned John James on the outside, and he's probably the most talented offensive lineman.
Second down 6. Here comes the option. Robinson is hit. Well played by Texas. Dropped inside the 30. Michael Davis is tackled, excuse me. No, Robinson.
And Willie Mack Garza was right there for Texas, coming on the on support along with Barry. The pitch was not there for Robinson. He did the smart thing, ate the ball.
At the 28-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 6. No huddle, spread formation. Single setback Davis. Robinson started to set in the pocket. No, penalty markers are down. Robinson is down at the 26. Needed to get to the 25 for the first down. Lance Gunn with the stop.
And that time, Leon Fuller, the defensive coordinator at Texas, goes with 5 defensive backs. He got one of those linebackers out of there.
Calls against Texas. And they're working on somebody down there in front of the Mississippi State bench, and it is Sleepy Robinson, who is shaken up on the play on the near sideline. You can't really get a view of him, but they're looking at him on the sideline. He is the man who's making this offense work here today.
Well, behind him, they've got a young man named Todd Jordan, who's got a big gun, strong arm, but he's more of a drop-back passer and doesn't really fit into this format. He's loosening up a little bit, and the guy at the other end of that passing duo is probably Greg Plump, who is more of an option quarterback, same style as Sleepy, not the same understanding of the offense, really. Jordan played a little bit as a true freshman, was redshirted last year. Boy, that is a sad sight right there.
Well, Robinson obviously coming off. We'll try to find out exactly what's wrong before we speculate as to what the injury is, but he has to sit down, and he has been a thorn in the side of the Longhorns here. Left knee.
Yuck.
Twisted under him.
Oh, man.
So they are going to go with Greg Plump, the player who is the other option quarterback back there, instead of going with a different style in Todd Jordan. Plump is number 10, a 5'11", 200-pound sophomore from Hattiesburg. Why they tried that play there, nobody knows. It goes dead on the 23-yard line. Tony James can't handle it.
Well, his ankle was underneath. His knee looked like it was hyperextended, and just hope he's not severely injured. Because he certainly is the straw in the drink, as you would say, of this Mississippi State offense, and he makes things happen.
Willie Mack Garza is number 17 back to take the punt of 13. Mike Riley. Texas in his face. Garza at the 39 and driven out of bounds right about the 40-yard line. The score is Mississippi State University 10, Texas 3. Stay tuned for information on how to win with Citgo's SEC Great Performer.
Call this number now. 1.
Coming up on the Aflac College Halftime Report, we'll have scores of other games from around the country, take a listen to the famous Maroon Band here at Mississippi State, and take a close look at State head coach Jackie Sherrill. That's at halftime. A lot of action in college football. First full Saturday of the 1991 season. And there's a look at number 10, Greg Plump. Right now, Texas with the ball. 1st and 10 at the 40. Spinning in the middle, Adrian Walker out to about the 43. Clock running down in the first half, 4:37 to go.
And now your defense even becomes more important. The offense has lost its big punch, at least temporarily, and now it's up to you guys on defense to hold them and stand strong. Try to take the ball away.
Understands his ankle, Sleepy Robinson.
Exactly. Whether it's Texas's defense or Mississippi State's defense, when something bad happens to the offense, that's when the other part of that equation has to really perform.
2nd down 6. Gardere gives it to Hadnot. Makes one man miss, but not the second, not the 4th and 5th, and he's driven back. The pursuit is the name of the defensive game for Mississippi State today. Herman Carroll and Jerome Brown finally combined.
Well, Kenny Pope and Jim Tompkins and Pete Jenkins and Bill Clay, the defensive coordinator here, have to be commended. They're well prepared, and these guys are coming after them. They're not intimidated by this Texas football team. Of course, why should they? As strong as Texas is, they play Tennessee, and they play LSU and Alabama and Auburn. And as you watch Sleepy Robinson, that's a good sign.
We understand that the injury is to the outside of his ankle. Maybe he'll return. Gardere. Incomplete. Penalty marker down at the 40-yard line. Kelvin Knight covering Kenny Neal.
Good man-to-man coverage by the Mississippi State secondary. There's a flag down there, and there's a flag down in the offensive backfield, too. So you're in charge of interpreting this, Robert.
How about nullifying? We don't know about that yet, but there is one down in the offensive backfield, and there is a pass interference call against, and this could both be against Mississippi State. Let's see. That may be the flag in the background, in which case it'll be 2. And that's what it is going to be, both the penalty markers against the Bulldogs.
I feel a little bit better about that. You know, I don't believe in pass interference, so I didn't think that was pass interference, but roughing the passer,
that can happen.
Yeah, Herman Carroll got a little bit
We have roughing
zealous.
the passer, defense, pass interference, defense, with 15 yards and an automatic first down, and force roughing the passer.
Thanks to Lloyd Dale for the explanation on the double penalties against the Bulldogs. 3:17 to go in the first half of play. Texas has managed only 3 points in this game. The Bulldogs have a field goal and a touchdown. Hadnot has rushed for 44 yards.
Emotionally, it's a tough game for Texas. They're going in to play Mississippi State, and they want to get this out of the way to get into the Southwest Conference schedule. And Mississippi State is a big game for them.
Walker into motion. Gardere to go to the air. Out of the pocket. Eludes the rush. Floated it up high. Incomplete down at the 5-yard line. He was trying to get it to Duke. Derek Duke, number 48. Stowers was back in his space there. He's the man who is chasing Peter Gardere. And Gardere has faced some pressure himself today. We talk about the penetration of the Texas defense. Again, Mississippi State has given him some pressure when he's had to throw the ball.
And I think the other thing that you have to consider is these are new wide receivers. First true game experience. It's a matter of timing. Good coverage by the Mississippi State defense, but a little bit of uncertainty as to when the break is coming. But that time he was trying to get a short option into one of the backs, and good coverage by the Bulldogs.
Second down, 10 from the 40. Gardere completes it to number 13, Jason Burleson, who is drilled right at the point of the reception at the 36-yard line by Keith Joseph.
Same pattern. Had a little bit of room last time, and I'm sure they just told him to throw it to the tight end. Gardere has had some receivers open underneath. This time he's looking all the way at Burleson, and Burleson pays for that one.
Third down, 5 at the 35 of Mississippi State. 2:36 to go in the first half. Walker, the single setback. It is complete to the 20-yard line. Going up to make a nice catch is Derek Duke. Kelvin Knight covering on the play, and that's Duke's first reception of the day, a gain of 15 yards, and the Longhorns are driving.
Duke had 7 catches all last year, and that time it was a nice throw and catch. Good combination pattern on the strong side. Duke stuck with it. Gardere came rolling out to the outside. There was no immediate pressure, and he lays it back in the seam and goes up for it, makes a nice extension, and Knight's there to make the tackle.
Palmieri goes in motion. Handoff to the left side. Number 39 is Patrick Wilson. To about the 17-yard line. Inside 2 minutes.
Talking to Clarence James, a receiver coach here at Texas, and of course, you know, any staff hates to see Walker and Cash and leave, but he feels that these guys, Duke and Palmieri, McLemore and Neal, have skill and have ability, and they will develop into adequate wide receivers to replace Cash and Walker.
It'll be 2nd down 7 at the 17. 7th play of the Texas drive. Mississippi State quarterback Sleepy Robinson injured his ankle, went in early at halftime. They're looking at him, hoping he can return. Not much on the left side, maybe a couple of yards for Phil Brown. Stowers with the stop.
All the way from the backside came Rodney Stowers. Played a little nose last year, played a little defensive end. But good hustle down the line of scrimmage. Good read of the block, tackle pull, fouled it right down, and was there to make the play.
Timeout Texas. That uses up one of their 2 remaining, so Texas will have 1 timeout remaining, as does Mississippi State. 57 seconds remaining in the first half. It'll be 3rd down 5 for Texas at the 15-yard line of the Bulldogs.
They're going to get Gardere on the move. Going to give him the option to run. And they like the combination pattern down here to the wide side. Little slant, go out in the corner of the end zone. Give Gardere something to throw it at.
Gardere pops it over the middle. It's in the air. Intercepted by the Bulldogs. At the 7, Daniel Boyd has the ball. They tried to hit Derek Duke, went off his hand, popped into the air, and Daniel Boyd was there. Another interception, another turnover for Texas.
Watch him coming in motion. Derek Duke crossing the field. Nice drop by Daniel Boyd. Disturbs Duke's concentration. That's a catchable football, but he pops up in the air, and good interception by Daniel Boyd. But good receiver location by number 41, Daniel Boyd.
Greg Plump in there at quarterback. At the 7-yard line, 1st down, Mississippi State, with 50 seconds remaining in the half. They'll probably try to stay somewhat cautious here. But we know Watson Brown's on the sideline.
I'm surprised they didn't quarterback sneak it. You know, with 41 seconds left to go in the half, they're on their own 7-yard line, 8-yard line. They want this to be over and get into the locker room and see how Sleepy's doing.
Clock down to 35. They spot the ball right at the 9-yard line. Greg Plump, who's filling in for the injured William Robinson, his timeout has been called on the field, is a sophomore from Hattiesburg. 3-year starter at Hattiesburg High. Good passer, but primarily he's an athletic kind of quarterback who can run the ball out of the mold of the William Robinson and stay with this multiple offense that has been so successful thus far today for the Mississippi State Bulldogs.
You see Scott Gooch there. He's a starting left guard for Texas. Been a backup for 3 years. Now he's got his shot to do it. Now I've got three real good friends. One guy's name's Gooch, another guy is Childers, another guy is Stewart. They're all represented here on the football field, Bob.
We'll have to look into that, kind of a roots kind of story for you. Tomorrow evening, hard-hitting NFL action on TNT as the Houston Oilers travel to Cincinnati to take on the AFC Central rival Bengals. Coverage begins with a Silver Bullet Stadium show at 7:30 tomorrow evening on TNT. Our buddies Skip Carey and Pat Hayden will have that ball game for you.
They're doing a great job, too.
2nd down 8 for the Bulldogs. 35 seconds left in the half. The Bulldogs leading 10-3. They stopped the Texas drive with the Boyd interception. There's the quarterback sneak that you were talking about.
That's what we expected here.
Texas, of course, out of timeouts, and they'll just let this clock run down now. The crowd's going to enjoy halftime here at Scott Field in Starkville. They've been pointing to this game. Mississippi State played Cal State Fullerton last week and clobbered them, but Fullerton not really a major opponent. This is the game they've been pointing to. This is what Jackie Sherrill's been talking about. But what David McWilliams knows is he has an outstanding veteran poised football team, and there's 30 minutes remaining. But the people here at Scott Field don't care about that now. They're enjoying the moment. statistical story at the half.
No great offensive explosion. Texas has been slow coming out of the box for the last 4 years. Our statistician, Alex Figueroa, gave me a stat that they've only scored 32 points in their last 4 openers. That's an average of 8 points a game. So they haven't been hot, and it's been good defense here. It's their first game, and there you see Sleepy Robinson back on his feet. These folks here hope that he can get back in action, and he's a big part of their offense.
Well, Mississippi State will have a ball in their possession to open up this second half as Texas kicks off to the Bulldogs. This is Tony James, who fumbles the ball at the 27-yard line. It remains in the possession of the Bulldogs, however, at the 27. And Sleepy Robinson, who injured his ankle, will go back out there and begin the second half as the quarterback. The Mississippi State drives in the first half, 3 and out for the first couple, and then a 73-yard well-executed drive capped off by the 35-yard touchdown pass. Then after the interception, a 30-yard drive and the field goal and the 10-3 score.
They moved the ball when they were trying to throw it inside. When they tried to go outside, those Texas cornerbacks just shut them off.
So Darrell Royal saying he thinks it's a possibility that Texas could move into the Southeastern Conference the next few years as the face of college football continues to change. Our halftime guest, here's the pass out into flat. It is complete and out of bounds at the 36 to Kenny Roberts. Short of the first down, but near the first down stick. Matter of fact, they're marking it up very close to the first down.
I'm sure you're going to see not quite the agility from Sleepy Robinson as you saw in the first half. His left ankle heavily taped all the way up to his knee, and it's going to slow him down a little bit.
They didn't have to measure. It's a first down. Mississippi State, they spot it just inside the 38-yard line of the Bulldogs, leading 10-3. On the option, Kenny Roberts accelerates to the 41-yard line. Tommy Jeter and Mark Berry making the stop. We started this game talking about this Texas defense and how highly touted they are coming into the season. David McWilliams told me on the phone, and said it in the press too, one of the difficulties for Texas is that they don't run the option very much off of their offense, and they haven't had an opportunity to practice against this kind of Mississippi State offense. He was worried about that. Almost picked off by number 42 Curl, the weak side linebacker.
And a super read by Anthony Curl. His man was running straight up the field. He was reading the quarterback, came off, and almost picked that ball off. He's a 3-year starter. Second on the team in tackles in 1989, third on the team in tackles last year, but some feel that he is the best linebacker that they have on their football team. Just very consistent and exceptional ability.
Third down 7 for Sleepy Robinson. Completes it to Prince. It falls out of there incomplete as he was hit instantly at the point of reception. And Mississippi State's drive stalls, and they'll have to turn the ball over as Mike Riley comes on to punt. He struggled today punting. He's had somebody in his face almost the whole time. He's averaging 39 yards per punt.
That somebody is Van Malone. You know, you can hear the engines warming up here. Malone down on the bottom sort of press box. Watch him come off the ball there. Boom.
Right at him. He's number 8. Riley gets away. Once again, not a great punt. And it takes a Texas bounce and out of bounds out here at the 25. And Riley can't be happy with the job he's doing here today. He was 2 years ago all Southwest Conference punter, or Southeast Conference punter, and was runner-up last year. Only 34 yards that time. Texas has the ball at the 25, trailing 10-3. Gardere, you pointed it out, Tim. He has brought this team back before.
And he's that type of guy. His strongest asset is his leadership ability. And so you can bet that Lynn Amity and he had a conversation at halftime. We got a few things straightened away. And now Mississippi State's going to have to give him a little bit different look in the second half. Hadnot stopped at the line of scrimmage. The swarming Bulldog defense.
Here's what Texas did with the football in the first half. 3 downs and out, then a 9-play drive before they had to give it up. That was really stopped by a penalty. Then they got the field goal. The only 3 points that Texas had in the first half.
They had the ball for over 18 minutes in the first half. You know, Mississippi State had it for over 11 minutes. And so they did a good job maintaining possession of the football. And I'm telling you what, they were inches away from breaking some big runs in the first half. And it's just an extra hustle by the Bulldog defense that kept it from doing it.
Second down, 10, Gardere. Popped into the air, finally pulled down by a Texas offensive lineman. After it was touched, hit by Kevin Henry, then Chuck Johnson got it. Loss of about 4 yards on the play. Frankly, this is the kind of pass rush we were expecting from Texas, not really from the Mississippi State Bulldogs, as you look at what Texas did in the second quarter with the football. Here we're in the third quarter with 12:39 to go, 3rd and 14 Texas.
A couple of 8-play drives, and so they've moved the ball successfully, and obviously a more talented offense. But more talented individuals really don't make any difference. It's how they play together and interact together that has to develop throughout the season.
Hadnot tries the left side. He is short of the first down. Tony Harris made the stop. Let's see where they spot it. It'll be about a yard shy of the first down marker at the 34-yard line. Texas is going to turn it over to the Bulldogs.
David McWilliams, a center and a linebacker. Question that he's had to handle at every Texas X's banquet that he's been to is, was that team last year for real? Are we really back? And he feels that they are. Wouldn't you say, Bob?
I think he feels that way, and so do I, despite the 10-3 deficit here today. McClanahan gets the punt away. James is going to let it bounce. And it gets a big Texas roll down to the 22-yard line. So McClanahan gets the roll. It'll be a 44-yard punt with no return. 11:27 to go in the third quarter. 10-3 Mississippi State. 11:27 to go in the third quarter. Bulldogs ball after the 44-yard punt from McClanahan at the 22-yard line. Sleepy Robinson, who injured his ankle late in the second quarter, is back out there and running this Bulldog football team. The handoff to the freshman, Michael Davis. Big gainer. He looks like Hadnot. What a run by Davis. Malone finally knocked him down at the 44. Davis weighs 230 pounds. He took it 21 yards.
Let's see if we can pick this up. You see number 52, Michael Padgett. He said it was a draw. Comes back in it. Good stick. Didn't really have his feet under him, but he might have had to been bolted to the ground to stop Michael Davis at that point. Oh, who is this guy? Look at this. Bang. Good hit by Michael Padgett. Now, that didn't slow him down. Van Malone usually mauls people, and he had his hands full trying to get Davis on the ground.
Here's the option, the pitch outside. Texas plays it well this time. No gain on the play. Carl Williamson taken down by Boone Powell. Michael Davis is a redshirt freshman from Morton, Mississippi. He was a redshirt last year here. He did have 284 yards and 5 TDs in one game when he was in high school, however. And remember, he's 6'1", 230 pounds. So when Jackie Sherrill told us yesterday that we asked him to compare this team, Tim and I did Jackie's first game at Texas A&M in 1982 and compare the talent at A&M then and Mississippi State now, and I think he agreed that this talent is a little better than he had then.
Hands up.
Robinson had his receiver open. Williamson couldn't hold on to it. Incomplete.
That time Boone Powell stayed at home. As you look into off into the horizon here in Starkville, what you see there coming in is rain.
Oh, no.
It is heading our way. The players will like that, especially the guys on defense. It's much more fun when it's muddy. And this is only the second game in the last 46 that Texas has played on God's grass.
There's a rainstorm literally heading right across campus. We can see it from our high perch here at the press box facility at Scott Field. Should be on this field here in a couple of minutes. Natural turf, by the way. Robinson finally got away. They drill him back at the 30. It was Shane Dranette, 6'6", 260 pounds. A penalty marker is down at the line of scrimmage. Loss of 10.
Illegal procedure against Mississippi State, and Drenette just blows off the ball. Look at that. You talk about a sprinter. Denny Stewart would say, where'd that guy go? He was sitting here a minute ago in the preseason All-American. Starter since the middle of his true freshman year.
Welcome relief for the rain for these players. The temperature has been about 95, and a little thunderstorm just blew up right here onto the campus. It'll remind a lot of these Texas folks of the kind of quick thunderstorms that hit Texas this time of year, too. Riley finally gets away on his patented the long-range punts. Garza at the 10. And down at the 7. 58-yard punt from Riley and a loss of 3. Woodard made the tackle. Mississippi State out in front 10-3, and here's today's Phillips Petroleum leaderboard as the rain starts falling here. Winningest active coaches by percentage. You notice that number 6 is Jackie Sherrill behind Osborne, Paterno, Edwards, Dye, and Bowden.
These folks are excited, and we talked about defense, and this has been a defensive struggle. Look at number 45, Mark Woodard. Woodard is the leader of that Mississippi State defense. Cover and punch, first one downfield, makes a tackle. And this crowd here, although they're getting rained on, it's electrified.
Hadnot gets a few yards out of bounds at the 10. Knight and Woodard combined to make the tackle with 9:31 to go in the third quarter. Hadnot's had 12 carries, 63 yards.
And he looks like an All-American. He moves like an All-American. The idea is you just, give him the ball enough, and it's going to pay off. He'll crack it. Just like Earl Campbell. A couple yards, a couple yards, a couple yards, 80.
Number 40, yeah, shaken up for Mississippi State coming off the field. Backup right inside linebacker behind 𝐒𝐭𝐚𝐬. Second down 3, Texas at their own 15. Hadnot again. Williams and Boyd. 6 tackles on the day for Nate Williams, 4 for Daniel Boyd. And it'll be third down and a long 2. Let's call it third down 3.
Now Boyd is holding his left arm, calling the signals there for the Mississippi State defense.
Texas 5 out of 11 on third down conversions. Hadnot tries the right side. He gets the first down. Stowers makes the stop, but Hadnot got it out here near the 20 to the 19 and gets it by about the length of the football.
Let's watch Daniel Boyd, number 41. Initially enrolled in Minnesota, transferred to Mississippi State, walked on in 1990, became a starter, and just a hard-working, blue-collar, not a lot of ability, but a lot of heart type of guy.
Thunderstorm came up very quickly here at Scott Field. The rain started only about 5 minutes ago. It was forecast this afternoon to be very hot and humid with a chance of these thunder showers.
Before it's over, Lynn Amity is going to challenge this Mississippi State secondary deep. They're going to try to run one down on them.
On the first down, Texas uses one of their 3 second-half timeouts, trailing 10-3, and Gardere goes to the sideline.
Fun. It's always fun to be in Knoxville.
First down 10 from the 19-yard line. Longhorns trailing 10-3. Gardere upstairs. Almost picked off by number 20, Edward Williams, intended for McLemore.
Well, right before we went away, we said Lynn Amity would try to go deep, and here it was. First and 20. And McLemore's a sprinter. And that's just well played by Edward Williams. Never had a shot. He was thinking the same thing. They're going to try to challenge me deep here pretty soon. And he saw McLemore coming out of there in his sprinter-style strides. He took off. Good job by Edward Williams.
Second down, 10 from the 19. Crowd definitely a factor here at Scott Field. That's not something you could have said in most of the games the last several years. Brown breaking tackles. Excellent job running the ball to about the 27. Finally, Nate Williams came over there to make the play.
And let's watch Nate work. He's one of this team's top prospects, number 95. Working there against Turk McDonald, just staying after it, down the line of scrimmage, run past Henry. Good hustle by the big Burles, the strongest man on this football team, and that shows some lateral movement and speed, and good job, Nate, good hustle.
Third down, long 3 from the 26.5. Derek Duke in motion. Complete to the 28-yard line, caught by Duke. Not much gain on the play. It will be shy of the first down.
Looks short. They're calling fourth down, Bob.
Texas has to get rid of the football.
And that's another thing about experienced receivers. You have to know where you are on a football field all the time, how much it takes to get there. Lynn Amity was talking about Gardere, reminding him of a young man from Vanderbilt back in the early 80s that we saw play several times. Set a lot of records there, named Kurt Page. Good athlete, heady player.
McClanahan gets it very high into this thunderstorm. Tony James will have to fair catch it, but good field position for the Bulldogs at the 38-yard line. Jackie Sherrill's Bulldogs leading Texas 10-3. Jackie Sherrill has won everywhere, well, almost. 1 year at Washington State, 3-8, but then 50 wins at Pittsburgh, 52 at A&M, and now he's 1-0 at Mississippi State. 106 wins for Jackie Sherrill. Sherrill came here under clouds of controversy when he left Texas A&M. 25 NCAA violations, charges of a slush fund, hush money, out of college coaching a couple of years. He came here. A lot of people didn't like that he came here, but they sure do like it at Mississippi State. The toss on the option out to the 44-yard line. Todd Ringo pulls down Fred Ward, number 1, is a junior from West Point, a flanker. Notre Dame with a 4-point edge over Indiana in the second quarter. Pittsburgh shutting out Southern Miss. We'll keep you posted on college scores all afternoon. Second down, 5 Bulldogs at the 43.5. Here's the draw play to William Prince. To the 47, needs to get to the 48 for the first down.
Prince was an interesting story. A defensive back last year when we saw Mississippi State against Tennessee. Hurt his ankle, got a medical redshirt year. Had a couple of big games as a freshman running the football, and now he's back on offense. Jackie Sherrill said he's almost a project for him. He thinks he's got a lot of ability, can develop into a great back.
He's big, 6'2", 220. And a senior. He's been around a little bit, gained some maturity, which doesn't hurt in that backfield. 6:28 to go in the third quarter. It will be second down and about a yard. Timeout called by Lloyd Dale, the official.
You know, last year this Mississippi State team was running with a couple of micro backs with James and Galloway, and you know, now they got Williamson in there, who is a load, and William Prince in the backfield sometimes at single back, and they're going to have some power. There's Pete Jenkins in that defensive line. Stowers, Rodney Stowers, Kevin Henry, Carroll. Those guys are going to understand what a weight room looks like by the time they got out of here, I'll tell you that.
Well, the Atlanta Braves are going to continue their battle for the NL West title tomorrow afternoon. The Braves take on the New York Mets from Shea Stadium. Chip Carey, Don Sutton, and Pete Van Wieren will have the game for you at 1:35 Eastern Time tomorrow on TBS. Today, the Braves only half a game out of first place after they won and the Dodgers split last night. The down here is third down and about 1. The scoreboard has it 2nd and 4, and I think the scoreboard problems is what is delaying the game at the moment. But it is 3rd down and 1 for the Mississippi State Bulldogs. And the coaches have been informed that that is, in fact, what the proper down and yardage is. Right here near midfield for the Bulldogs, leading 10-3. Darrell Royal at halftime, Tim, was worried about this game. I mean, you know, Darrell Royal's a very outspoken man and, you know, says what he thinks, and he wasn't being nice to Mississippi State. He says, I watch this team. I see the talent out here, and I think Texas is in some trouble here in Starkville.
I don't think, I mean, if they weren't awake when they got here, they're awake now. I mean, they realize they're not playing against a 1AA team. This is a powerful football team. Now, the problems that McWilliams has coming into this game is that in Texas, you never hear much about Mississippi State. They play in the Southeastern Conference. That's someplace out east, and you know but that's not big football out when you're back in Texas. So he has a problem winding their clock. The other problem he has, he's got a bunch of guys back off a team that was real good, and they got to forget they were real good last year. If you don't get any points for last year, this year, you got to start all over again with the hard work and the sacrifice and get after it.
3rd down 1 Bulldogs. Robinson on the keeper gets the first down to the 46-yard line.
Boy, there was nothing going up the middle that time. Watch him ride it in there. Watch his close here. Boone sits at home. He's ready to play the pitch. Nobody gets there in time to take Robinson. Curl finally brings him down.
Spotted near the 47. First down, Bulldogs. It and keeps it this time. Nothing happens. No gain on the play. Robinson has thrown the ball 14 times today. That's uncharacteristically high. More passes than we expected, or than I expected, certainly at this point in the game.
Well, with his mobility, I mean, and how many of them have been drop back passes? None, you know. So I mean, so play pass, try to hold those linebackers in, and then drag something across the middle. I think initially they were trying to work on the cornerbacks, trying to get something going 1-on-1 on the outside, but these guys are just too tough. Berry and Cavness.
2nd down 10, and Robinson calls timeout. That's one of the 3 Mississippi State timeouts. By the way, an update on the Atlanta Braves. Bottom of the 5th for the Braves this afternoon, and they are leading 5-0 over the New York Mets. Just been 1 touchdown in this ball game today, and it came from Sleepy Robinson.
See Boone Powell trailing Treddis Anderson, and Powell is probably one of the most consistent, they say most underrated player on this defense, and what he does right is he's always in the right place. It looked like he was expecting help from the other side, and if he was, it wasn't there, and Robinson put it on the money to Treddis Anderson.
Well, the thunderstorm has passed by. The rain has stopped. It was cooler for a moment here. Now it'll get hot again. Temperatures were in the 90s. When that sun comes back, it'll be like a sauna here at Scott Field. 6:33 to go in the 3rd quarter.
And they do a great job teaching defense at Texas. I mean, they've always been strong defensively, and I think a good example of that was Glenn Blackwood, who was not a heralded player coming out of college, but played for 11 or 12 years with the Dolphins and played because of his tremendous knowledge and instinct. And he developed a lot of that at Texas, and then, of course, learned from Shula and Arnsparger and the rest.
2nd down 10 from the 47-yard line of the Longhorns. Robinson nailed in the background. Loss of 3 or 4 in the backfield. Dronette and Robinson with the stop. Robinson's the little guy. of the defensive ends. He's only 6'4", 255.
Right.
Burnett's bigger at 6'6", 260.
From Bremen, Texas, and he was recruited as a linebacker, and they moved him to end as a freshman. But he's played in every game since coming to Austin.
3rd down, 13. Robinson floats it out here. It's complete to Anderson, the man who caught the touchdown pass, but not a lot to go on the play. To the 42, Grady Cavness made the stop. Not a bad idea when Robinson, being so elusive, draws the defense and still has the chance to toss that ball.
Treddis running the crossing pattern. Padgett makes contact, gets knocked off, works himself into the clear, and here's Grady Cavness, a little cornerback. Whack. Good open field tackle.
Brings up 4th down, and Riley's in here trying to drop the ball down inside the 10-yard line. Willie Mack Garza is back on the 10. He bobbled the punt last time. Riley, this one should check up unless it gets into the end zone, and it does. And it'll come out to the 20-yard line. Punt of 42 yards, and the Longhorns, trailing 10-3, take over here at Scott Field. Still having clock and scoreboard troubles here at Starkville, but Mississippi State leads at 10-3, and Texas has the ball 1st and 10 at the Longhorns 20. Gardere under pressure. Down at the 16-yard line. Torrance Brown got him from outside linebacker. Approximately 3 minutes left in the 3rd quarter.
Another good job by Edward Williams, cornerback for Mississippi State. Jamming up the pattern. Gardere had no place to go. Good pass rush on the outside from Mississippi State. Joseph Woodard when he's coming.
2nd down, 14. Right up the middle, the quick opener gets 5 or 6 yards for Adrian Walker. Daniel Boyd with his 5th tackle of the afternoon.
And you can just see what a year of experience has done for Daniel Boyd. They'll never see a better bevy of running backs than they're seeing today. I mean, they may see as good, but these guys, each one of them that they hand the football to can go the distance in a hurry.
3rd down, 7. Boyd's only a junior also. Penalty marker down. Gardere completes it short of the 1st down out to the 28-yard line to Justin McLemore. Mark Woodard made the hit. Lloyd Dale heads up the Southwest Conference officials here. We'll wait for the call.
Well, watch McLemore on the outside. They try to run off the defenders here and run a little route inside to get the 1st down. As the ball is snapped, the slot man runs off the defender. But a good read, good awareness, good communication. People reacted on the football. They get back in time and prevent the 1st down. Good strategy on offense, well played on defense.
Here's the call from Lloyd Dale. He's trying to get everybody's attention here. Okay, Lloyd, we have you. You're on. Take it. Call was illegal procedure. It's 4th down and 3. Penalty was declined, of course, by Mississippi State to force Texas to turn the ball over. Tony James is number 25, back at the 32, leading all-purpose yardage gainer in the SEC, who's returning to play this year. Hasn't had much opportunity so far today.
And don't take a deep breath if you're a Texas Longhorn covering this punt, because Tony James, we saw him take it 71 yards against Tennessee last year, so he's a talented kid.
10-man rush. Not much protection for Tony James, left alone at his 30. To the outside, penalty markers are down against Mississippi State, and James is down at the 34. 43-yard punt from Kelly McClanahan. A real question mark for Texas coming into the game, but he's answering the call with a good job of punting the ball away for the Longhorns today. This is going to put Mississippi State back in a hole here, but they lead 10-3. We have right around a minute remaining approximately, in the third quarter. Clipping's the call. Scoreboard clock is out here in Starkville.
Now, 15 yards is hard to come by, and that's what you talk to your special teams about all the time, is there's 1:58 left in the third quarter.
That's Clipping on a run back, 1st and 10.
Guys that don't play every play on offense and defense are in there trying to make something happen for their head coach or for their fans and for their mom and dad, and they just get a little over enthusiastic and cost Mississippi State some good field position.
68 penalty yards today against the Bulldogs. Try to run it on the right side, about 5 yards out the line. Broke the tackle. Michael Davis has done it again. The 230-pound freshman. 34 yards this time. He had a big 21-yarder earlier.
They're ringing the cowbell for this steer. Bam! I mean, there's nothing but white jerseys. Shane Durnett was trying to bring him down, had some help. Lance Gunn, Cavness, Barry finally all run him down. What a fantastic run.
Looking at the shoulder of Michael Davis, we'll let you know if he's hurt. Against Mississippi State out of the hole thanks to the clipping call. They were down at their 15, up their own 49 now. William Prince tries the middle to the 47. Well, it looked as though they had the 230-pound Michael Davis stopped at the line, but no.
And look at this leg drive. Great hit here by Texas. Durnett trying to hold on, and he actually gets knocked free by a Texas guy, but he kept the effort going, and takes a trio of them to bring him down.
2nd down 7 from the 48 of Texas. Try the middle again. Texas says, hold it. Whoa, 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 whoa. We're strong here. We aren't we? David, and showing the effects of the rain a little while ago.
And David McWilliams resisted some pressure a couple of years ago to replace some assistants, and stuck by his guys, and they came back strong for him, and went 10-2 last year. So he's a team guy. And Darrell Royal was saying that everybody loves him.
It'll be 3rd down when we resume play. That's the end of the third quarter. And the Bulldogs hold a 7-point lead. You see, their 4 for the fourth quarter is ours. Texas hasn't scored a touchdown yet, and they trail 10-3, and Mississippi State's defense has been the story thus far here today. The stats pretty even except for the 2 Texas turnovers.
And they played good 3rd down defense. Texas is completing passes on 3rd down, but they're not getting the 1st down. And so it's good conservative Mississippi State defense, but hard hitting and getting after folks. It's fun.
15 minutes left here, and the Mississippi State players are holding up those 4 fingers as in the fourth quarter is ours. Humidity and heat has played a role in this game today. It's been 90+ most of the day, and everybody getting tired.
And I think it'll probably tell more on Mississippi State than it will on Texas. Texas has given their front liners a rest intermittently throughout this game, and so they're probably a little fresher.
Well, there's the defense that Mississippi State has played so far this year. Of course, they allowed only 3 points to Cal State Fullerton in the opener last week, and no touchdowns to Texas so far today.
But don't breathe too deeply, because these guys can score at any time.
3rd down 6. Robinson to go to the air. Oh, wide open. That's Willie Harris. Drives to the 20. 27-yard gain.
You're playing man-to-man in that secondary. You got to contain the quarterback. You just can't let him buy that much time. Tony James was taking it deep through the secondary, and Willie Harris worked his way, separated himself from a defensive back, and Sleepy found him.
Eluded the tackle, pitched it back. A couple of yards, not much more, to Tony James. Off the option, the flanker.
Jackie Sherrill looking for a face mask call. Looked like somebody ran their hand across it. Let's see if we can see it here. Oh, I think that's probably...
We've seen it called before. I'll put it that way.
That was callable, but it was not callable, too. If you're a Texas fan, it's not callable.
Second down 8 at the 19. Robinson playing with that sore left ankle. Here's the draw. Michael Davis, sore shoulder and all, is back in there. This time about 4 of the Longhorns do get him down at about the 17-yard line. Shane Dronette, Michael Padgett combining on the tackle.
The biggest difference between playing in high school and playing in college, if you're a gifted athlete, and this is Michael Davis's first real big-time action. Ran a little bit last week, but the first action against a top team is the amount of pain that you have to deal with. I mean, you're going to be hurt most of the time, and it's just a matter of getting used to it and playing with it.
Davis is the single setback. Robinson throwing into the end zone. Incomplete, intended for Tony James. Mark Berry covering.
And that's the hardest pattern in football to cover. That time, good protection by the Mississippi State front. Robinson had time to wait. You see him come out of the slot here. Berry, number 9, running with him. Gets a hand on him, breaking to the outside in great position, making up time. Would have been a fantastic play, but just a great job of coverage by Mark Berry.
36-yard, make it a 34-yard field goal attempt by Chris Gardner. It's good. He's 2 out of 2 today. A 10-point lead for Mississippi State. 14:56 to go. Mississippi State leading 13-3. Early moments of the fourth quarter, about 13 minutes. Their scoreboard clock has been off and on today. 13 minutes remaining in this football game in Starkville, Mississippi. We've been keeping you posted on the Atlanta Braves and what they're doing as they battle for the National League West crown. The Braves are leading today in their game against the Mets. Scores 6-0. Pendleton, Hunter, and Justice have homered for the Braves. Mississippi State 13-3, 13 minutes to go. There's your story. Bottom of the 6th inning at Shea Stadium in New York. We'll keep you posted on that. Walker and Saxton back deep for Texas. Gardner will kick off. The Mad Dog, mostly volunteer kickoff coverage team. Now I'm not sure if any of them are.
I think they're integrating a few players in there at this point with a 10-point lead, and they don't want to let this get away with a big play on special teams.
Gardner drives it high and deep. Walker from his 3. Looking for the lane. Out to the 22-yard line. Maybe the 23. Down he goes. Hit by Frankie Luster, also not a volunteer. Luster, a backup defensive back.
Let's listen to this hit now. Frankie Luster played as a true freshman last year. You really?
Does that mean he has to give up his scholarship if he plays on this team?
Those noises make... I wake up in the middle of the night hearing that. My shoulder pads always made the noise. Pain was going into my body.
First down 10 from the 23. Longhorns trailing by 10. Gardere looking to bring them back. Completes it to Hadnot. Hello at the 25. Frankie Luster, who made the hit on the kickoff, makes that hit on Butch Hadnot. Luster's come alive here. He's only 190 pounds.
And it's a great read by Frankie Luster. Gardere is looking for the tight end, not there initially. Luster held off the tight end, then came up and gave a smooch to Butch Hadnot.
We could hear it up here. Second down 7, just outside the 25. Hadnot right side. To the 30 and down. Edward Williams with the stop. Had they not go somewhere else on this?
You know, Clovis Hale talked about it, and he's offensive line coach at Texas, talked about his offensive line, felt pretty good about him. But they're coming up against an inspired defensive front here from Mississippi State.
Maybe they'll change it to have not. Third down 3. Big conversion here for the Longhorns. Trailing by 10. 11 and a half to go in the game. What a hit. Incomplete. Number 49, Frankie Luster. Drilled Adrian Walker.
Well, this series is the Frankie Luster show here at these 3 plays. Nice job. Gardere delivers the ball, has to loop it up in the air to get it over a defender.
Ooh.
But Adrian Walker just can't get the handle on it before Frankie Luster tries to he substitutes his helmet for the ball. Hang on to this, Adrian.
I think Frankie likes this. McClanahan has to punt. Line drive, James at his 37. Trying to break loose. Got some tough yardage there across the 40 to about the 41. Return of 4. Only a 32-yard punt. And the Bulldogs are starting to smell blood here with a 10-point lead over the Longhorns of Texas. Scott Field in Starkville. 11:21 to go. Texas came into the game 12th ranked in the country, coming off a 10-2 season last year. Southwest Conference Championship. David McWilliams, the Southwest Conference Coach of the Year. Jackie Sherrill's national television debut today with his new Bulldog football team. And they have the 10-point lead. Only one touchdown in the game in the second quarter. Touchdown pass from Robinson to Anderson. This is Robinson again. First down or close to it. Michael Paget made the stop.
Well, one of the things that Leon Fuller said, Texas's defensive coordinator, before the game was, you know, you can pretty much take away who you don't want to carry the ball in the option. And I said, well, who do you not want to have the football? And he said, I just assumed that Sleepy guy not have it. So that time, Dronette was trying to take Sleepy away, but the fullback knifed in there between them, and Robinson was able to pull free.
They're going to measure all the way across the field with the chain. Short by about the length of the ball and a little more. So Mississippi State, I know they're not looking ahead next week, but they host Tulane next week. We saw Tulane play Ole Miss last week. Tulane won't be real happy. Tulane has to play Florida State today. They're not going to like these films, no matter what happens in this ball game. And Texas has to be starting to ask a question of themselves. How good are we? How good are they? At some point, that has to be raised in the minds of the players. This is second down, less than a yard. Robinson dives for it and gets it. Well, he's the guy.
I don't think you can make too big a deal out of it if you're Texas. You know, if Texas is not able to come back, I think David McWilliams just got to throw this out. I mean, it will be a good incentive for him to get into his players a little bit and get them emotionally ready for the season, the games that really count. You know, we saw Florida State get whipped by Southern Miss a couple of years ago, and I don't think they were thinking about it as they played for the national championship at the end of the seasons. This will help McWilliams get the Texas Longhorn players' attention.
I think that's an excellent point, thinking back to that Florida State game. They fake the ball to Davis. Keep it on the left side. Penalty markers down. Dronette and Berry combine on the tackle. Texas has a strange schedule in September, too. Only 2 games. Today in the 21st versus Auburn. Then they don't play again until October 5th. And then after that, 9 weeks in a row. Calls holding against the Bulldogs.
And so he's got a long time before he needs his team to get peaked. I mean, they certainly would like to play better than they're playing today.
I think David McWilliams was signaling to decline the penalty and let that clock run and let the down marker change. Let's see what they call.
Holding, offense, decline, second down.
Yeah, McWilliams is having to start to look at the clock now. 10:36 to go in the game. He'd rather the play go to the second down here.
Well, that's a lot of confidence in your defense. You know, whenever you turn down somebody giving you 10 yards, right?
Yes. Right at midfield, just inside. Second down and about 11. Here's the shovel pass to Davis. Not much with it, though. The penetration, and the big fullback got it. Since he got shaken up with his shoulder, Davis hasn't run quite as hard as the times we saw earlier. We're pointing out that he's a redshirt freshman despite weighing 230 pounds.
See, he sat out last year. He really hasn't played football in 2 years, and this is his first year of eligibility in college football, and it's been a while since he's really been nailed. And these guys at Texas rock you around.
Robinson picked off by Texas. That's Michael Padgett. Caught from behind at the 8-yard line. But Texas pops right back in this with the turnover. Kenny Roberts ran him down. A 47-yard return on the interception. And just when Mississippi State looked to be gaining control of the game, the Longhorns get the critical turnover. Oh, boy, a game has suddenly erupted here late in the fourth quarter. 9:33 to go.
A big play by Padgett. You know, they've been having a lot of luck circling that back over. That's a dangerous area to throw it in when you've got a lead.
Here comes Adrian Walker. Stopped at the 5. Gain of about 1. Keogh Coleman with the tackle.
Okay, let's watch Michael Padgett. He just kind of stays at home there. You're going to see Kenny Roberts circle in there, but Padgett just kind of stays at home. Tries to pick something up, reading the quarterback. Makes the right move, and bang, here he goes. Thank you very much. I'm off and running. Great effort by Roberts to catch this and give Mississippi State a chance to line up on defense.
Second down goal from the 5. Gardere runs the option. Head knock. Stopped short of the 5 by Daniel Boyd. Is this 4-down territory for Texas at this point in the game?
This is 4-down territory. Let's look at this.
Gardere with play instructions called in from the sideline. You see how close it is. Third down goal just outside the 5. Crowd on their feet at Scott Field. Gardere, the blitz on. It'll be 4th down and goal. Neal and Duke were the intended receivers. The coverage was there. They just ran out of room.
Knight and Harris there. They tried to run a double out pattern, Bob, thinking that the defenders would be sitting hard inside, defending the inside. But it just wasn't there. You can bet David McWilliams is now plugged in, monitoring this call that's coming from right next door in our booth from Lynn Amity down to the sidelines. being transferred in to Gardere.
What do you call on 4th and goal from the 5? You call timeout.
You don't want there to be any confusion. You want everything to be perfectly understood at this point. We'll be right back to show you what they decide on.
The timeout's over. Defensive stand. 4th down goal. Texas from the 5.
There's Bill Clay. I didn't recognize him before. He's got the glasses on, a towel. Got to be proud of his guys now. 4th down. This is it.
They're not going to go for it. The field goal unit has come onto the field, and Jason Ziegler is going to go for the field goal and take the 3 as they trail by 10. It's a 22-yard attempt. Narrow goal post, difficult angle. Bad snap. It's good, however. Nice job of kicking by Jason Ziegler. And now Texas is trailing by a touchdown, 13-6, but the Mississippi State defense holds inside the 10.
Excellent job, excellent hustle, get to the football. That 3rd down play on the option was just a wonderful effort by Danny Boyd. McWilliams did what he thought he had to do, take the 3 points. Good job by Chad Lucas. As you said, low snap, he was able to turn that thing and get it perpendicular so the other guy could kick it.
3 plays for Texas inside the Bulldog 10, 1 yard.
Okay, let's look at this one play here, the option. Gardere coming down the line of scrimmage here, had not on a trail. They force him to pitch the ball here, and then watch the pursuit. Watch these guys react to the football. And that's what they've been doing They've been doing it all game long. Here comes the pitch. Blocker out in front. Look at everybody getting into it. Boyd back in there. Kelvin Knight all the way from his free safety position. Just a super job.
Well, the fans have been anticipating this game with Texas here in Starkville in central Mississippi since first of the year. They got past an easier opponent, Cal State Fullerton, last week. Excitement's been high. This place was rocking and rolling before the game, and you and I were saying, wonder how long the enthusiasm will last here against Texas. Well, it's lasted nearly an hour of football time. Kenny Roberts burrows his way to about the 24-yard line, where Mississippi State will take over under 8 minutes, about 7:45 to go in this game, and a 7-point lead for the Bulldogs. The Atlanta Braves have a 6-point lead. Bottom of the 7th, 6-0 Braves. Pendleton, Justice Hunter have hit home runs. I think the Dodgers play tonight. If the Braves were to win here, they would be tied, at least momentarily, for the National League West lead.
Something that's not going to appear in the stats is Kenny Roberts' effort to bring down Pageant from behind that gave Mississippi State the chance to play defense down there.
Well, that's a good point. Robinson has 3 in the backfield. On the option, turns it upfield for a yard or 2. Bo Robinson with the tackle, and now Mississippi State obviously needs first downs, but also wants to run the clock.
You know what's interesting here, it just dawned on me as you see Watson Brown yelling instructions, is that a team needs to know how to win, but a crowd needs to know how to win too. You know, we've been in some stadiums where the underdog is ahead, they're at home, and the crowd is sitting on its hands. Right? I mean, the crowd can add a lot of juice to its own players by getting them up and getting them going.
2nd down 8. They don't sit on their hands here because they have cowbells in the hands. The option left side, about a yard, but not much more. That's William Prince struggling out to about the 27. Time remaining. 6:42. The contrary scoreboard has been off and on here today. This 3rd down 6. This is significant play here for Mississippi State.
No backs. Patton, Watson, Brown.
Do you believe that Watson made a miss? miss. Excuse me, Watson. Sleepy Robinson made a miss. Looked like he was going to lose more. He squirmed back for a few. No backs, nothing to go. Texas knew that. The penetration was there, and thus the loss on the play.
You talk about penetration. This is penetration. Look at that. You see Jeter in there, Patton. They're all there.
Well,
Jeter has time to get up and go again.
Texas still has a lot of time. 𝐿 Garza, after 2 years off to recover from knee surgery, an excellent punt returner. And Michael Riley.
Show you how deep they are at defensive back. He was a defensive newcomer of the year in '88, and he can't earn back his starting job.
Fair catch at the 36. There, Texas will have under 6 minutes, trailing by a touchdown. 5:23 to go. Texas ball at their 36-yard line, trailing by 7. Adrian Walker in motion. Complete to Walker out to the 41-yard line. Tackled by Frankie Luster. 5 stops for Luster today. He's been playing more at strong safety than Lance Aldridge, who was the starter.
And I think he'll continue to get more and more playing time in there, Bob. I think he's got more speed, got more of what they need in there. Lance, whose dad was a coach here at Mississippi State, played at Texas, is a good, solid kid, but really doesn't have the foot speed to play every play.
Second down, about 4. Had not hit in the backfield. The ball came loose after the tackle. Keith Joseph, first man back there. Penalty marker at the line of scrimmage. Jackie Sherrill out on the field signaling decline it, indicating he thinks it's against Texas. You can't decline it till they offer it, Jackie.
Illegal motion on the offense. Decline. Third down.
He should have said declined illegal motion.
I got you. They're exploding. Here come the boys from the outside. Well, if there's something happening, you know Woodard and Joseph are around the football. And that's what happened that time. Carroll is in the game. Jerome Brown is in the game. Pass rushers.
Third down 9. Gardere. Pressure. Big catch by Derek Duke. First down. Texas stays alive. 14-yard gain. 4:21 to go. Big third down and 9 conversion by the Longhorns. Clock stops till they set the sticks.
Let's see this now, and you see the 3 Texas receivers lined up on the right side. Here's the one that finds an open area in the middle. Now, you got to give Gardere credit. He knows he doesn't have a lot of time. And he pumped it right down the middle. There wasn't much space there. Knight right there. Good throw by Peter Gardere.
Clock getting down toward 4 minutes. Draw play, Gardere, elusive, throwing, incomplete. Clock to 4 minutes, 5 seconds.
Thrift slow getting up. And he was nailed by Eddie Williams. There he is, Curtis Thrift.
Texas, by the way, while they're looking, it has only 1 timeout remaining in this game, should that become a factor, and it very well might, with 4:05 to go.
Thrift is the guy that made the big catch for him last year against Oklahoma on a 2-point conversion after a bad snap. David McWilliams knows he has a lot of folks in this offense that can turn in 6 points in a hurry.
Still looking at Thrift down on the sideline. He's down around the 30-yard line of Mississippi State. Nobody left when the rains came here in the second half. We had a very quick arriving thunderstorm that hit here for about 15 or 20 minutes and drenched everybody, but nobody moved. Thrift's up, walking off the field on his own power. Hopefully that'll mean he's okay. So Texas will have it second down at the 48.5-yard line of Mississippi State. pressure, again elusive. Incomplete. Excellent coverage by the suspect Mississippi State defensive backfield. Pass intended for Kenny Neal. Clearly the weakest unit in the minds of the coaches coming into this game.
And they have played a stellar football game. Gardere pressured with his athletic ability. He escapes. The receiver finds an open area, but then closed by Knight.
Well, Texas converted on a 3rd down 9 with a 14-yard pass completion. Now it's 3rd and 10.
And I think Mississippi State's got to continue the pressure. You know, they seem to respond well there. Get him moving. Get him out of there.
Single setback, Hadnot, Duke, and Neal the wideouts. Complete to Derrick. It's the same area. They completed the 14-yarder on the 3rd at 9. And it's another 1st down, this one for 16 yards. Clock gets down inside 4 minutes. They'll move the sticks again. So Texas going to the air and coming on strong.
Okay, look at this one here. You got Williams on the top, and he's just kind of playing a soft double zone. He's not really jamming. He's kind of giving to the inside. Knight lays inside, and you get a curl pattern down here, and a nice throw by Gardere. Good timing route.
David McWilliams said this is what Gardere is all about. Poise, coming from behind, winning, heady. Complete to Walker. Down at the 28-yard line. Gardere brought him back last year. Seven times.
They came from behind 7 times last year, and down to 3 minutes and 15 seconds. See the pressure in the faces of both coaches.
Derek Duke had 7 catches all last year for Texas. He has 6 in this game today. 2nd down 5 at the 28 of the Bulldogs. Hadnot. Big opening inside the 20. Kelvin Knight with the stop.
With a few exceptions over the last 8 years, one of the problems that they've had on defense here, and there are some glaring exceptions, but one of the problems that we've noticed is that their defensive backs hadn't tackled well. And that's a fantastic job by Kelvin Knight. You know, you take it on one of the best backs in the nation, one-on-one. He can go either way, and you wrap him up and get him on the ground. Good play.
Under 3 minutes, 2:40 and counting. 1st down 10 at the 19 of the Bulldogs. Gardere. It's tipped. 91, Kevin Henry got his hand on the ball.
Kevin Henry from Mound Bayou led Mississippi State in sacks last year. Coming around the end, good awareness. Gets up and whacks that one down. Trying to get it out to Hadnot on the side and give him some room to work. Good, smart defensive play.
2nd down 10 from the 19. 2:34 to go in the game. Mississippi State leading by 7. Texas on the drive. Gardere, good protection. Incomplete at the goal line. Triple coverage down there around Derek Duke. It'll be 3rd down 10. Well, Gardere and Texas have converted 3rd and long twice before on this drive.
In order for that kind of a pattern to work, you have to turn the defensive back the other way. Gardere is fortunate that the Mississippi State defender didn't come back in and make a more solid play on that ball.
Adrian Walker goes out, and Phil Brown comes in. 3rd down 10 at the 19 of the Bulldogs. Jerome Brown, number 98, made the play. We talked about 4-down territory earlier for Texas. The field goal won't do them much good here with just over 2 minutes remaining in the game. It is 4th and 10.
Let's look at it here. Watch these receivers here. You talk about man-to-man coverage. Let's see it in action here. We've seen a lot of examples from Texas in this type of coverage. And watch these guys stick. Look at that. No place to go. Lost it up in the air, but I think the pass would have been broken up anyway. McLemore runs a nice pattern, but here it is.
It's down to this. 4th and 10 at the 19 of the Bulldogs. Mississippi State up by 7. Gardere goes down. And the crowd goes crazy. Over 2 minutes remaining to hold on to what would be the biggest upset of this young college football season. Texas has only 1 timeout remaining.
Run it back one time. Run it back one time.
Robinson hands it to Davis with about 3 yards out to the 28-yard line. With right around 2 minutes. Remember, the clock is broken, but about 2 minutes remaining in this ball game.
A performance.
Well, the Bulldogs lead it by 7, 2:13 remaining.
Okay, let's look at that sack here. You know, you got a man in motion here, and they try to bring him across the middle, trying to bring it down to the inside. If he'd have had time to find Walker, watch that man, watch that strong back. They get confused in the coverage, and he is wide open, but Gardere just never has time to go to his second receiver. Down he goes. Great effort by Mississippi State. Hard to see, easy to see when you're winding it back and from this level, but hard to see from the field level.
Texas is out of timeout. 2nd down 8. Robinson running clock now out to the 33-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd down. And the clock will get inside the 2-minute mark. And remember, Texas cannot stop the clock again. They're going to spot it right at the 32-yard line. Texas was a 10-point favorite coming into this ball game. 3rd down 3, Bulldogs. Robinson gives it to big Michael Davis. He is short of the 1st down. To about the 34-yard line. This Watson-Brown offense of Mississippi State has only scored 1 touchdown, but they have kept the great Texas defense off balance all day. Now what? With 1:09, 8 counting, they'll let this clock run down as much as they can. You can bet on that before they turn the ball over. They being Mississippi State, even to take the penalty. Down inside a minute. And 5 seconds remaining on the 25-second clock, which obviously Mississippi State is going to allow to happen. They'll try to call time right before that, and they do, avoiding the penalty, as the clock would have stopped anyway. Robinson comes to the sideline with 44 seconds remaining in the game, and it'll be 4th down Bulldogs when we return. To get back here in the face of Mike Riley, the punter. 44 seconds to go. 10 men to rush this punt. And Riley's inside his 20. They almost got to it. May have got a hand on it. Penalty marker down against roughing or running into the punter is the preliminary indication. 39-yard punt. Look at the sideline. Sherrill, Robinson, Watson-Brown, Boyd. Oh, my.
Well, Texas is coming. They have a block on.
Just barely got him, but they did run into the punter, Burleson.
But that's not what lost this football game.
Roughing the kicker. Defense. 1st down.
Well, David McWilliams is going to be able to turn this into a positive for his Texas team, and And these guys got to not be too excited. Of course, they're enjoying it now, and they've worked long and hard all spring long, all summer long, trying to rebuild some confidence here. And they've got to cherish this moment for a while.
Well, Mississippi State gets Tulane here next week. Tulane, a weak program this year, no question about that. Mississippi State should have a win there. You and I will see them against Tennessee 2 weeks from today. And that's going to prove to be a very big ball game up in Knoxville. Oh, the victory is so sweet in victory-starved Starkville, Mississippi.
David McWilliams, a classy man, makes that long walk across the field, shakes hands with what has been an nemesis for him in the sense that he's beaten Texas so many times. Jackie Sherrill, he'll take his team home to Austin, kick him in the fanny a little bit, and wake him up and get him ready to play the Southwest Conference schedule.
Jackie Sherrill teams have defeated Texas the last 6 times they've played them. 5 at A&M and once here at Mississippi State. The Bᴜʟʟᴅᴏ is out. They're dancing in the stands. And this will help Jackie Sherrill with his confidence-building program at Mississippi State. And Jackie Sherrill is with us. Jackie, congratulations. What was the key to today's victory?
I think the biggest key is of players believing they could do it. But up front, we control them. And I don't think all that stuff where they're saying that they defensively they could go ahead and put pressure. We did a great job inside, offensive coaches, of controlling their blitz. It didn't give them a chance to rush us and put some pressure on. But the biggest key was the play of Sleepy Robinson, our quarterback.
How is he with his ankle?
He's not very good, but he's awful tough.
Jackie, is Tim Foley.
Hey,
you're a defensive guy. How about that defense of yours?
They played really outstanding. You know, when you go in there, and I will say this, when all week I kept hearing from Texas is that they're going to score 30 and then they're going to let the coaches do the rest. I don't think our players believe that. You know, these kids over here played Alabama, they played Auburn, they played LSU. They're not intimidated by anybody.
Well, they played wonderfully today. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Jackie Sherrill, congratulations. We'll see you in a couple of weeks up in Knoxville here on TBS when you play the Tennessee Volunteers. Mississippi State 13-6 over Texas.